Ahead of the key payrolls number coming out here this morning for January, we're seeing futures back in negative territory at this point, just awaiting this number to fill in here. Looks like private payrolls, 444,000 versus 150 expected. Overall, the unemployment rate ticking slightly higher here, 0.1%. 3.9 expected there. It's up to 4% overall. So futures relatively flat ahead of the January jobs numbers. So we'll keep an eye on the overall market as we head into what should be an exciting Friday. Welcome. It is an interesting one. We had Amazon aftermarket yesterday blowing out earnings. We had Snapchat and Pinterest, both better than expected to the upside. Ford, the surprising one, bit of a miss, back in negative territory this morning. We'll talk about all of those coming up here. It is interesting for this employment report in the sense that we'll get the CPI number coming out next week. That is going to be the other indication for the Fed heading into March. Welcome to an exciting Friday. It's Friday, February 4th, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. Beat there for, there's Roblox, big beat there for the overall jobs number. We'll throw up the markets here and have a look at how things are shaping up. Bit of a downtick here in the overall futures, but here we go. It's actually 0.2 at this point, 0.38 there for the Dow. The NASDAQ still just barely holding on to positive territory. Bit of a move lower here, though, to start things off as we get the January jobs number. Again, huge beat, it looks like, guys, right across the board. They were expecting 150,000, comes out more than 400,000 jobs created.
Yeah, good morning. I guess there were a lot of people, you heard doom and gloom for this report, right? So, Omicron and then seasonal issues as well. So it's probably why we're getting a bit of a reaction here in the market as we're teetering to the downside. Everyone, of course, and when you expect the worst like that, and we like the, no news, good news, or bad news is good news kind of event, you're gonna see the markets turn down. I just watched a bunch of names like, Facebook, which was doing okay, just made a bit of a turn here. And there's a lot to get to. I know we just got that number, and you're seeing breaking lows on Facebook, the NASDAQ right at 14.5, right on the heels of that 830 number. If you were watching, last night, any of these earnings plays, Snapchat specifically, right? Like Amazon too, but Snapchat specifically. We'll talk about all of these individually, but I'm telling you, this volatility, it is just all about what people are betting. And clearly, when the bet too hard one way, it just takes a slight move in the other direction, and then just complete insanity in the aftermarket. And that's kind of a season that we're in. So you got to buckle up. It's going to be a pretty exciting end of the week, that's for sure, because the volatility in these markets is amazing, and it's giving you opportunities every single day, and we look to take advantage.
Yeah, hey, good recap there. Yeah, the jobs number there, a spicy one. Unemployment rate now 4% versus 3.9%. Pretty good. Well, not pretty good, but pretty much in line on that look. But look at the futures here, just fell down pretty hard. We're actually going negative right now. And then we just started the day off already. We'll cash in with this grenade. It's not much of one, but it is Ford on the short side. It's on our sticky note. They did disappoint yesterday, like really bad. You're down 7% today on Ford. Absolutely disgusting report, in my opinion. And I know it's, part of it is what we kind of expected here. They did have some CapEx. They did have different things. They are switching things over back and forth now. But they did miss on EPS and miss on revenue. So we are already short here. And we're short Snapchat. We got to take some of this out as well, as we just got short 35. It's all the way to the downside right now. Let's take a piece out here on Snapchat as well. But so far, so good here today. Two shorts, and just happens to be right with the market coming pretty hard to the downside right now.
Going to keep an eye on the futures here. Join us, guys, in 30 minutes. We'll get Mr. Wonderful's opinion on what this means going forward as far as interest rates and inflation overall. 9 o'clock in under 25 minutes now until we get to Kevin O'Leary coming through. this morning. Let's talk about what is moving around here a little bit, other than the overall market, guys. A lot to get to. Before we get to the open this morning, we'll talk about Amazon a little bit here, because this is the one we mentioned late in the day yesterday, as it was going to be a big deal. And yes, definitely a big deal here. A huge monster beat for Amazon. AWS number just absolutely monstrous. Everything else better than expected for Amazon, up 11% here.
Yeah, okay, so it was mostly everything else. Like, I think their revenue guide actually was a slight miss. But again, it's about the expectations. I mean, everybody was talking about how, Amazon were concerned about. I was concerned that they could have some headwinds. This was the last earnings to come through. They could struggle, especially after Facebook. People were taking risk off. They're talking about selling, all that good stuff. And sometimes that's what it takes. And you get the outsized move up. Now, interestingly enough, you are much like, well, not as much as Pinterest, I suppose, but much like Pins, gapping back down into where, I guess, the calm happened in the afternoon moves for Amazon, right down at that 3,060 level. But the truth of the matter is, hey, they raised the prices by 17% for Prime. That's a reasonable number. The market likes that. I'm a Prime holder. It's literally going to change absolutely nothing for me. AWS is a beast, 40% growth. That's absolutely crushing it. And on top of that, like, you throw in that advertising was strong for them, and what you got was a fantastic quarter. That's what the market needed. Unfortunately, like, before 8:30, before we came on here and we got that jobs report, you could have been ready to say that we were gonna, Amazon was gonna say some things here and we're gonna get a pump to the upside. But a lot of that, like I said, it was just options bets, and now we're sliding back downside off of that number, instantly retesting yesterday's lows. Well.
Oh yeah, okay. I was trying to load up the chart here. You're instantly testing the lows, and I thought you were going to say something there. But yeah, look, Amazon has been pretty dead for a while, and it's been sideways move. If I can get this chart to ever load up, I would love to show it to you. Yeah, right now, nothing to show on the charts, guys, as it's not loading for some strange reason. But look, Amazon, a monster quarter. There was some tailwinds there from Rivian, and they did talk about that as well. The only problem is their guide was lower, and if that every other company that guides lower gets absolutely trashed. I just think that people were way off. Like, what is going on with my charts? I don't know. I thought that everyone probably just way offside, and that created this huge bump up in Amazon. People thought, okay, you know what? Look, we're going to get some puts on here. We are going to be, weighted to the sell side. We had a huge miss from Facebook, and I'm just thinking that people didn't want to, feel the pain with Amazon because it hasn't been set up great into that quarter. They were down. We talked about that, and I'll do a little bit better here after I try to figure out what's going on with these charts.
Just having a look at the CME Fed funds rate watch, guys, now indicating 34% possibility of 0.5 basis point increase coming up in March. If you remember, we showed you that at the end of the day yesterday. It was at 13%. So just off of this jobs report, guys, we've gone from 13% up to 34% chance now of a 0.5% rate hike in March. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And that's exactly why. Like, if you think about it, right? Like, we're in this raising rate environment, and these risk assets are going to get absolutely punked. And it's just one of those. If you're going to increase those odds, like I was just in Roblox, and I'll actually, you know what? I'll go over the trade here because I said to you guys, and we'll probably talk about this on the short sell report. But I said if you find support anywhere close to that initial bump to the downside, that's a setup that I like. You get a number like that, and it sort of blows things out of the water, right? Like, it just completely turned the sentiment in the market, as Brendan mentioned, flipped the odds a little bit there. And you've seen some pretty aggressive estimates in terms of where the number of rate hikes. So maybe they'll hike every single time this year, and then of course that's going to affect the speed of the runoff of the balance sheet. And then some of these names, which are quite frankly, your high growth and valuation trap names are just going to get sold off. And again, pre-market, post-market, the algos just go, poof, and this is what happened. So I was all ready to sort of just average into this trade, get more shares in front of 60.50, see if it holds that level, and even test it. But you look at that snap down, I'm like, I can't add to that in front of this. It's almost too much. So hopefully we actually hold some of these lows from yesterday in Roblox, and things can calm down, and then we can maybe work that trade closer to the open. But like, things can turn on an absolute dime, just as we showed there.
I'll just, right now I'm logging out and back in, so I have zero platform right now. But right here on the sticky note, we only have 4 names: Ford, Snapchat, Facebook, and Roblox. I like it yesterday near $60 off that report. I read that report, whatever. It's just, I feel like it's a bunch of haters on there. We know that. It's talking honestly about, I don't know, am I allowed to say like pedophiles?
You can say it.
It's like that on
the entire report is
on the website. So it's just talking about how there's not too much privacy or not too much security there, because considering that the majority of the users are between, you know, sensitive ages 6 to 14. Yeah. But the same thing is true of TikTok. The same thing is true of like Instagram. Not that they're that down low on the age group, but I mean, I just feel like that was a little bit, you know, not a report about valuation, not a report about, you know, user growth or anything like that, or not a report about someone pushing down an electric vehicle down a hill to make it look like it's running. I see you, Nicola. So I you know, for me, Roblox is a buy at these levels. I'm going to log in, and I think Neil just showed you I like that 60 level, and that is that.
2 things in that report. Actually, what's not in that report? There actually isn't a single mention of anything that has like fundamental, right? So like you won't actually find any of that in there. That's first thing. Second thing, the watch list is actually done. We're just having a little bit of an issue updating the page. Once that is resolved, it will get out there. Believe me, it's done. We're just correcting the issue as we speak for those of you that are looking out for it.
I want to show you the 10-year chart of the 10-year. Here's what happened on that number. With the U.S. 10-year, yeah, huge spike. We were at 182 at the end of the day yesterday. Tops out above 1.9 on the jobs report. So, yeah, a lot of things to discuss this morning. As we said, Kevin O'Leary coming through in about 15 minutes or so. We'll get his opinion on what this means going forward. For the meantime, let's bring in Michael Noss, chartered market technician with Trade Ideas, back again for Friday. Good to have you, as always, Michael. Let's talk about gappers. There's actually been, I mean, Snapchat today, but it's been a quiet start to the year as far as, you know, those typical kind of small cap stocks that you see with those monster gaps in the pre-market so far in January. Anyways, I'm stealing your thunder here. How are you?
No, you're 100% right. It seems like a lot of gaps are getting faded recently. So this is why I wanted to focus on a kind of new scan that we've created at Trade Ideas, something that my friend Steve Gomez from Trade Ideas uses a lot, and I really like the concept of. I spent a lot of time, you know, preaching on you guys over the last month or so about sticking with relative strength and going with relative strength for the long run. Not to pat myself in the back too much, but I hope a lot of you guys listen, because those energy plays have been doing great and the growth plays have still been getting hammered. But I want to make sure that there's a lot out there that we do at Trade Ideas, and I want to make sure that I'm talking to all audiences. So this is going to be more for you guys who are short-term traders. You like the gaps, you like the action. And this is a very specific type of gap that I think is great for both day trading and short-term swing trading if you're trying to get those reversal points. So it's called a pro gap, and the first chart I have here is an example of AMRN from a little bit ago, and we're just going to talk through kind of what needs to happen to create this pro gap. So we have a scan built for this, so if any of you are Trade Ideas subscribers, you can email in info@tradeIdeas.com, and they will get you that scan. They'll give you a little link for that scan. If you're not, we have a test drive coming up in February 14th, so you get to try the product for like $11. You can email in, they'll give you information about that as well. But like always, I'll give you guys some examples. I don't know how much the job number will change those examples, but we'll see. So a pro gap is basically looking for kind of a shakeup of the market or a change of investor sentiment. So you're looking for a downtrend going into the gap. So you can see AMRN here. You know, it's a fairly slow moving stock, but it moved from about 450 down to 3 over the length of a month or two. And then it had this sell off over the last 4 or 5 days. And that's really important. You want the action going into the pro gap for the last few days to be negative. And then you get a gap above that, and that gap holds. So if you're day trading, for me, when I look at this, think of an opening range break or a break of prior highs or something to that effect. And then generally speaking, you can lean on that gap. And what I mean for that is that if that gap holds that day, then I look to see if it continues on for the next few days using that gap kind of fill as my stop loss. The psychology of what's happening here, because all charts and all trading is all psychology, is essentially that whatever gap happens, you want to make sure it's significant enough, either through price or through news, that it's going to make the people who are shorting this stock maybe reconsider, and the people who sold out recently reconsider as well. So it's like a shock event that can kind of turn the market. So I have another example here that happened pretty recently with Apple, and you can see the exact same kind of move. Push down over the last, I think this was almost 10 days in a row down, a little bit of a chop, and then gaps up, and then that gap holds. There was a little wick, might be hard to see. They tried to retest the gap, but it held, and then you got a nice couple day gain out of it. This particular one was earnings. Anytime you see that yellow line on our chart, that's just represented earnings date. So this one had earnings. Earnings was obviously good and pushed up from there. So the examples I have from today, again, I would go recheck your chart after what's going on in the markets here. But the first one, Snap. Everyone knows about Snap and the incredible earnings they had recently. I love this gap just because not only was it in a downtrend before the gap, it down the day before, now it's gapping up. When I recorded this, it was at 36. I think it might be 34 or something now, but just check that out. So if that holds, you got to think that everybody who either shorted into this down move or sold their position in this down move might be time to reconsider. Another one here is ANY. This is a data processing in Canada. They signed a new deal. Again, for you news guys, it really helps if the news is significant enough to make these fundamental people reconsider their decision. This has been in a downtrend for a while, a bit of a range, so not as clean as I would like, but then is gapping up over that range. So, maybe the beginning of hopefully a move here. Next one is Kind, K-I-N-D. This is Nextdoor. I've never heard of it. It's another social media company, so it may be playing in sympathy with that. Same pattern, nice down move, gapping up over this recent resistance. You can see the last 2 days actually hit, I think, a new all-time low, and now we're gapping up. So again, maybe time for those people to reconsider. And then the big guy, Amazon, is kind of the last one here. Same kind of thing as Snap and all that. These things have been beaten up for a while, gap down yesterday, and then completely reversed today. So into the gap down, anyone who's been selling recently is a little bit painful. So at the end here, I just have a fun new way that we have at Trade Ideas to visualize data on the last slide here. And this is stock races, we're calling it. So essentially, we take hundreds of charts and we put them together into this bar chart that these cars are constantly moving to show you which of these are moving in real time, underperforming or overperforming. Again, if you're interested, you can email us and we'll give you a little video about that. But that's how I'm watching these things in the morning. So I don't have to have hundreds of charts up, and I don't need giant watch lists. I can just take a look at this, and it kind of shows me what's going on. For the record, what's been the only thing that's been outperforming in these ones is Snap. And I think that has to do with the numbers that just came out.
Yeah, great stuff. Michael Noss, Chartered Market Technician at Trade Ideas. One of those weeks, really, Michael, where we've had, as you said, big reversals, big moves down, and then, right back up again this morning on a number of different earnings reports. But good to have you as always, and enjoy the weekend.
You too now.
Our internet seems to be a little bit of spotty the past couple of days here, but thanks again to Michael Noss, as always, for some great ideas there on gaps, guys. And I was saying, to start that off, it's been a relatively slow start to the new year as far as, those little ones anyways with monster gaps, but a few interesting ideas there.
That's right. Like not all the volatility, a lot of the volatility in the last few days or weeks, or I want to say, has been in the bigger names. Like I find like the number of small caps that are there, like there's one or two, but usually you're choosing one or two out of 5, 6, maybe 5 or 6 each morning, and then you're picking out the best 2 that you like. And lately, it's like, oh, there's only a couple moving. Any's going to be one that we're watching here today. But yeah, you're getting the real moves. I'm not real. You're getting the bigger moves from your Snapchats. Like it's completely insane. Like this options action is getting crazy. So whether it's Snap today, whether it's pins, whether it's Facebook yesterday, and let's not forget, like when you saw we saw nonsense on Qualcomm aftermarket. Like that had a reversal in it where people were like somebody was stuck, trying to fill a ridiculous size order on a Qualcomm good report, and that was crazy in the aftermarket. So I just kind of feel like we have to adjust our strategies a bit. I've been talking about the open being a little bit different with the spreads opening up. So you just got to change your approach. Stick to the setups that work for you. Maybe understand that with more volatility, size it down a little bit, and then just sort of go from there. But yeah, it's great for us as traders to be able to see this, and trying to find those trend reversals can be fantastic for you. Whether or not Snap is in the middle of a trend reversal, well, let's see if it holds up today. I mean, we're both in the short this morning because I just kind of felt like it had more to do with the snap back after all the bets against it, and then profits will be sold off here. I mean, this stock, crazy, 23% down to at one point it was over 60%.
No, it's
and now up 42%. You don't see things like
nuts on that one. Yeah, and I see what you did there. Snapback. Come on. I mean, how many times are we going to do that today? We were shorting Snapchat like crazy yesterday. Facebook right now off the sticky note, just took out yesterday's low of 326, 336. Ooh, did I just slip up there? Maybe we're going to 326. But right there, just took out yesterday's low on Facebook. So it is battling back. I mean, it's been lower today, this morning already. So that 236 that we put on the sticky note has already been violated a couple times. It was that low that we put in yesterday, 230. I mean, I wrote down the sticky note 236, but it's 235.78 or so, looks like yesterday, and that's almost exactly to the penny where we're kind of stopping right now. So we've just been unable to break this 235.50. So watch out for Facebook here, and we still are short Snapchat. We did take some nice profit on there. We did get a spike up and got it right at the 50 period. Now we're dancing with that as well. One in, another in, 2 outs right there, but we still are rolling with half this position, looking at around here, 35.50 as a danger zone. So if that comes into play soon, you'll see it. Here we go. Now we're starting to rally upside here on Snapchat. I'm looking to get more short here on this move up, guys.
A few analyst moves for you this morning. As always, we'll focus on, Penn National on here. We had a huge move on Penn National yesterday. Upgrade today. Here's Facebook, Biogen, Snapchat as well. Still positive, but a couple of price target cuts and also downgrades for both of those. Penn National to the upside, as I said, Estee Lauder, GitLab, one we haven't looked at in a long time, and BJ Wholesale.
Prad all about GitLab there. Well, I mean,
I haven't heard about that in a while, but yeah, he does like GitLab there. So that is upgraded. What is that? GITB? Is that what
it was? GTLB, I feel.
Oh, GTLB. Yeah. Okay. Let's have a quick look at how that's been holding up here. I'm going to go with New York. Nope. Let's go with NASDAQ there. Like, you never know. Like,
look at all the
Snapchat,
volume.
You think that would be technology as well. Okay, so here's GitLab here. Again, recent addition, obviously, to the market. And if you IPO'd at any time in the last 2 years or so, sans a couple names, you are going to be lower. And look at GitLab, much lower. So let's not say Prad likes this too much, because if he has, then he is out of the money a significant amount, as many people are. If you've ever invested in GitLab at any point in its life, you are most likely down on this, unless somehow you picked it up in the last week or so down here, which would have been good. A nice little, it was on the upgrade side, right? So a nice little move up. We'll see if it can take out the 50-period moving average. Look, we like all these technology plays. It's just like, I don't know, for me, it'll always be going back to the biggest and the best. Microsoft's building a little small portfolio of all these tech things anyways. They tried to make a play on Discord, we know that. What was it? Not GitLab. They have another one there, GitHub as well. So there's a lot happening with Softy as we are now breaking down near 300 breaking. This is going to be a nasty day in the market. Mark my words here. Amazon's going to tank. Everything's going to fall down. This is 0.26%. We were cruising, man. Yesterday, when Amazon. This is a daily thing, but when this came out, look at this move, man. We're already at 14.8. you know, it's been basically no reprieve here. You get a little bit of a bump back up here as retail coming in at 7, 8 a.m. But then look at this move to the downside right here. We get that jobs report, and now you're just taking out lows, and now we're down 0.23, and the market just continues to get absolutely crushed here over the last little while. There's no reprieve in this market. I think you're probably proper to raise some cash, and I don't want to say it because I already raised some cash in Apple, and it was at a lower level than this 159. But this is the name that's held up quite well. Obviously, as we are above the 50-period moving average on Apple. Like find me another tech name that's above the 50-period moving average, let alone one like Apple that basically controls 10% of the market. So if you wanted to raise capital and you're in Apple, can't blame you for that kind of a move here. But also, we, you know, as Jim Cramer says, own, don't trade Apple, and I've learned my lesson on that one. Wow, today's going to be another fun day, Neil, as it's Friday, and I don't know, do people want to be holding positions over the weekend? Well, the one thing is, the Ukraine and oil, first of all, was what, $93 today? Like, so I feel like there's, I mean, and I don't know anything about, you know, this politics, anything like that, if or not Russia's going to, you know, get a little more aggressive with Ukraine. Hopefully Ms. V is not standing on the front lines there in Moscow, although I saw some pictures from Moscow. There
wouldn't be no issues if she's on the front lines, tell you that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if anyone cares right now, but yeah, anyways, I was just going to say that, who knows, anything can change over the weekend. Oil could rocket up. This market could come tanking right back down. You could get more downgrades. I'm not sure anybody's going to be upgrading anything. Brendan, we talked about that Fed rate futures tool there, looking at half in March. Not going to be good. And then again, you said it was projecting like a rate hike every single meeting this year. So this is going to be a fun one. But let's go over to Brendan here quickly as we're getting ready for Mr. Kevin.
Yeah, guys, I just wanted to mention this Kohl's. Anyone kind of keeping track of that KSS potential deal? They just came out and said, yeah, all offers are currently undervalued, which is, I guess, to be expected. But big spike down there on Kohl's on that. Went from 58 down to 54.5. But pretty light volume on that one so far.
Yeah, I'm literally saying to myself right now, why didn't I short pins? I was trying to choose between these two. And it's like, no, Snapchat.
Oh, Snapchat and pins.
It's like, it's just, look, the theory is exactly the same.
Bad, no? I didn't like that quarter that much.
It wasn't, okay, yeah, we'll get into it when we talk about some of these individuals. But like pins quarter, it wasn't perfect. There was nothing perfect about a lot of these reports. But I did want to mention any because I just got into that. I know Michael was talking about a breakup. And you know, I'll trade counter trend pretty often, especially if you ever get a resistance at an obvious level on the daily here. That $3 one already stood out. You basically got to that in the pre-market, and then you have the gap down, and then sliding down. So you shorted off the lower highs. It then broke this support at 60, and on the retest of the 60, it started to fail. So I just jumped in front of that here at 259 on any, as man, the market just starts to crumble. And I'm saying this to Sean, like I had my bid that I could have put tighter on to that 60 level on Roblox.
Oh
but
my God, Neil.
830 hit. And I still had my bid out there at 61.25. Like I could have canceled it and repriced it, but I did not. So now the market is starting to flush.
Like, come on, man. Like yesterday, our best trade was Facebook through 250 was our number one idea. Look, Facebook, Goldman Sachs gets the cut from 355 or from 455 to 355. Like, what is this guy obsessed with fives? Look at yesterday's bottom, 236, right? Top 242. I mean, like, come on, man. Like you just said, we should be short this name. That 236 break was an unbelievable break. Oh, what are we even doing here? Yeah, we're supposed to be short that name, so I'm going to cancel my Snapchat bid here. This is ridiculous. We should be $2 plus in the money. We put it there on the Snapchat, so we'll go boom for anybody that took it. We used to have a little sticky note thing on here. I don't see it anymore, but if you did have that trade, it's this market is in a big problem right now. So let's wait to see how low this goes. Someone said that they had like 220 or something as a spot for Facebook, which was temporarily mocked. Yeah, but not anymore. We have Arun getting ready for the future, so let's throw it over to Brendan and get this going.
Yeah, let's bring in Arun and get a check of the overall market here before we get to Kevin. Obviously, a negative start here off of the jobs number. I mean, it's not a huge move, Arun, but what do we expect here, and what are you looking at?
Well, I mean, we've been working these levels all week, I think, and it's about time we get near a level that I can actually work with. Remember, we were working 45.80 towards 46.20 on for the last little bit here for the shorts. We never got a chance to get a short going, so here we are waiting for the long. We are hitting that long range, though. We obviously downside momentum. You're starting to see NASDAQ accelerate, so techs are starting to go, but we're going right into some support zone. So I'm going to wait for this market to slow down, start to see if I can start picking up some bids. So here we are, about 15 points away from entering my zone where I would like to start working some longs on the futures. If we can get going, a nice little setup there against 43.95. I think that's the play to make for now, at least. If this market continues at this speed without setting anything up, you just step back and let it go, right? We are only down 0.5% on the NASDAQ and the S&P actually. So for now, we're okay. But if this accelerates, it becomes a problem, and then you walk away. But we are hitting some buy-side support. And I think it's about time we can use that to get along. It's just a matter of how fast are we going to go down there. And I think that'll be telling. And if we get that set up, like I said, go for the long.
All right, thanks, Arun. We will check back in again tomorrow, guys. Just saw a note on Mara. Anyone watching some of the crypto-related stocks, they just updated their monthly mining numbers. It's worth noting anyone trading maybe crypto today or some of those stocks, there was a move, a little move to the downside anyways, guys, on that jobs number as well.
Crypto's actually doing quite nice here today. There was a little bit of a rally back in BTC today. So hold on a second. This is still a daily chart. My bad. Let's go to a minute chart right here if we can load that up quickly. Yeah. So Bitcoin touches down here 36, rips up to 37.3, and nice little move up there for BTC. You can check it on the 15. Let's go to 30-minute chart. We've held out. I was just trying to show that we've held 36, 35. Pretty good. I last sold some out at 40, thinking that we were going to get a bigger dump off. I didn't. I bought more Solana and I bought more Cardano, but I did not get more Ethereum or BTC. And it looks like maybe that's been a bad decision here. I believe it's going to hold this 30 area. I mean, I didn't think it was going to hold 30 when we were coming down like this and then touching 33 there. We were just a little ways away from that 30, which I think is a tipping point. But right now we've also bounced off 39. So we'll give this. This is about a week. This is about 2 weeks worth of data here. And it's been pretty consistent on the Bitcoin side of things. So I'm not expecting too many crazy moves here on Bitcoin. So if you are looking at a Mara or something like that, I think Neil has the chart up, then that would be something to consider there. If you want to trade an equity rather than the coin itself, the coins aren't moving that much. If you want to get some more exposure, again, not just because we have Kevin O'Leary coming on, but there's WonderFi, and there's also the other, Hut 8 is what I want to talk about as well. So there are a few names that you can get that are more tracking coins rather than BTC itself.
Yeah, and you're right. Mara's not making huge moves yet, but just remember, it sometimes will put some outsized moves in relative to what's actually going on in Bitcoin. That works in both ways for those of you that invest in this instead of the actual coins. You can get some advantage in that they'll get some outsized moves, but then the disadvantage, and I know because when you from owning Silvergate is, well, guess what? When you own the equity side, you have to be concerned yourself with the news cycle a little bit more specifically to that company, and then you also have to be concerning yourself with earnings and releases of that nature, which it does complicate things a little bit, but still worthwhile. And as I mentioned, we talk about our trades and we talk about our positions here. 8:30 hit, and I had a plan of action, and you should always look. You should always not just be aware of, of reports and economic numbers that come up, but be ready to adjust. And for me, because I was viewing that Roblox short sell reaction plan as something that was just a pure structured style play, I really wasn't caring too much about what happened in the market. But once we really accelerated to the downside and we're breaking those lows at 8:30 on that jobs report, at that point you kind of like some things, unless you're in a short, that's a different story. But if you're looking for a long play, you got to adjust your plan. I didn't. I just said, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to go with the same plan. I didn't draw back my long. I probably still would have lost in the long, but I could have easily taken this 30, 50 cents lower, 70 cents lower for a better price and just waited for things to settle down. I can revisit it at the open, but that's a good 25 minutes away.
Let's go to sorry, Sean, I'll just jump in. Let's go to Ford here quickly before we get to Kevin this morning. I wanted to mention earnings here, moving to the downside, obviously. The forecast a little bit light for Ford, and the EPS actually missing as well there. So what do we do here, guys? Obviously moving downside with the market as well.
What was that? But Ford Motors, yeah, Ford Motors. Okay. Just first of all, I just tweeted out off the sticky note if anybody had that 236 break here on Facebook, and I just want to talk about this quickly because I know it's a lot on people's minds here. We're at 232 handle right now. That's $4 straight to the downside off of yesterday's breaking low there. This is not good, guys. As the Nasdaq's now down 0.78%, our Ford is rocking right now in the money, and you want to talk about again, another play that we had one more time off the sticky note right here. And it's pretty simple, man. Pretty disappointing quarter. Missed on EPS, missed on revenues, and forecasted lower than General Motors, right? So we wanted to look short there through 1925, and that's exactly what we did. If it got back to 1925, we were going to be wrong. But look at this Ford short, man. We just came in, we take the short, right off VWAP, no real significant levels. We just offered it and pushed enter, and then we got out there at 50. We knew we wanted this short on Ford. Not a great quarter, very, very disappointing. Down 8%. We are now below. This is the 1925 area that we're talking about. We are now below this cluster. It's been a disaster. We did get some out, obviously, when they had their last report. I put an $18 to $20 target on it. We extended that through 23, 24 on the EV craziness that we had. So for me, Ford is a short. I am bidding right now in front of 25. We do have a nice little imbalance there of 100,000 shares on the bid. That'll have to get done off the open. Facebook still going down. Let's just check on the imbalances quickly here. As you can see, yep, there it is. Ford, 500,000 shares to sell. So
yeah, and look what's number one.
It is going to downside. Yeah, Snap's a buy. So yeah, we're gonna have some problems with you, Snapchat. Like, it's just so stupid. And me and you under our breath are talking about that. Like, we're short Snapchat and I'm not short Facebook. Like, oh my God, Facebook is still, guys, Facebook's still going to the downside here. Now 232.30 or so, 232.80, 232.50 just got touched. So, I mean, we're going to the downside right here in a hurry on a lot of these names. And what I was gonna say before we go back over, Roblox is on the list, but it just hit my sticky note list of 60. So let's wait to see here. That's that price yesterday. The very bottom of this was 59 and change yesterday. I'm going to hold on to Roblox, but at the same time, this can get nasty real quick as well. So watch out for Roblox here off the open. Short Ford, long Roblox, short Snapchat, and unfortunately not short Facebook. But we are getting ready. Remember, it's the 3-day rule on that.
Yeah, exactly. Look, Roblox for me, I want to get back in, but I almost want to wait till the open, like I said. And the lesson to be learned, like the reason we're mad at ourselves here, and Sean's mad about Facebook and I'm mad about Pinterest, is don't miss your A+ setups, right? Like, that's rule number one as a trader. And to me, Snapchat was in there. Of course I wanted to be short Snapchat, just not as much as pins, and I should be, and I'm not. You talked about Ford. I would just quickly go over to GM here because sympathy, obviously, they're going to be down. Two very related names. Right on support here at 51.65, well, 51.70, let's call it. And if this gets broken, this has been significant in the past. There is some room to that 49 to 50 area where I think GM should be a fantastic support level. So let's see what happens on General Motors. Clearly just falling on the Ford disappointment.
All right, we might as well go to Snapchat here, guys. What a move. Still 42%, still trying to hold some key levels here after this earnings report for Snap. I mean, 24 at the end of the day yesterday. This thing gets all the way to 38 in the aftermarket.
Too much gamma on this name. Everyone is shorting it. Obviously, with the Facebook, we were shorting it like a madman. A good thing my trades aren't showing up here because they look like short. But Snapchat was my number one name yesterday, short, and we traded that. I mean, Facebook was my number one name yesterday, but okay, here we go. So now Snapchat's really starting to really get me upset here because Facebook's going back up to the upside and we just got into more short now. We're going to get out at 35.50. If it takes out 35.50 right here, we're gone. I was just thinking that, hey, too many people caught offside the wrong way. There was a big short squeeze yesterday into this. It's now 9 o'clock. We were expecting this to come back down here. I thought that some traders that were short in the options market through puts, calls, writing or not, that they'd have to get exercised today because this move is unbelievable. I believe it's the largest move in Snapchat's history, straight up there to the upside. So we're now short 94 on this name, and we're going to give it to 35.50. So we've already captured a nice bit of profit here, but again, short, and out. hold. We hold the line right now. We take another offer at 35.10, and we'll see about this coming to the downside now. So right now, Snapchat, my play was just the fact that, hey, I feel like everyone that got blown out already got blown out right there. But there could be a short squeeze off the open. So with that being said, you know, maybe we are wrong on this. A little bit too early on the Snapchat short, but hey, I'm short right now into 35.50. If it takes that out, I definitely want to get back in at some point. So even if Neil and I, because I know we're both short, lose on this position, if that's possible, which it looks like it may be, then I'm going to be hunting to get back in this name all day. Because I just don't believe 43% should be right here for Snapchat, especially in this environment. So that is what that is.
I'll give it 3 times. It's just going to be that simple on Snapchat. And even to those post-market levels, like that 38, that 37 is definitely going to be in play. I just realized, by the way, that Roblox never broke 60. So I'm not really sure why I even triggered out of it. I just assumed that was a 60 break because I had a stop go off. But so I will get back in before the open. But, you know, Snapchat, the numbers were good. Don't get me wrong. Like they turned a profit. I'm not going to say that it wasn't a good quarter for them. But like Sean said, this is really just about the absolute volatility. And the reason I said 38 to you guys, just go back to when this had like a 10-day in a row flush, what that previous bottom was. It's right around that 38. So there's a lot of room. I think it can still go. That's like almost 10% from where we're sitting right now. There's a lot of room it can still go that I would still believe it hasn't truly tried to break out. And when you've got this much room to the downside, it just feels like, yeah, you have to open. If you were willing to risk 50 cents on this on a normal trade, you're willing to risk $1.50 now.
I'm still beside myself now because Facebook is just.
Where is it now? Oh, yeah.
Where is it now? I mean, it's in the ether right now. You're down to 232. What's the thing on that Netflix show, The Upside Down or whatever they call it? There for Stranger Things. Like, I feel like Facebook is in a whole different world right now for everything. We were down that huge 26% or whatever it was yesterday on the close, and then now today you're adding to that another 2.5. Like, this is going to be down 30% in 2 days, let alone what the market's about to do to it here today again. So, I mean, just watch out below here with Facebook. Holy crow. Like, why do I even put out a sticky note and put on there to short 236 and then don't have it myself? Like, I'm honestly right now, Brendan, you talk about being on tilt. Maybe I'll ask Kevin about this because, like, right now, this should have been shorted and it wasn't. And I just sat there and watched it. We watched it live on the show. And, you know, like, this is honestly why I think we have the best trading show. It's like, this is just an honest mistake. Like, I'm short Snapchat here as that's going up. Like, I short the name that's up 42% when I know that there's a sick name that's just sitting there with an awesome level. Like, it's absolutely crazy that I'm not in this short. So let's just settle down. We'll regroup on this.
Chill, Winston.
Yeah. We'll chill out a little bit now. We'll let this go. We'll lose on, well, I mean, net, we'll probably lose on Snapchat, but it ain't over until it's over and the market opens up in 18 minutes and maybe then it's over.
Fair point. Maybe it is. We should also be checking in a little bit on Amazon too, right? Because that just caught a bid as well as the market reacted to that 830 number, getting right back up to it's still in the pre-market range, by the way. So I have a feeling, just a sneaky feeling, that if we have any kind of a turnaround and one of the leaders in the aftermarket pump, push, I should say, then maybe we will start to fall down. Because I look at this, I look at pins. There's Pinterest for you, and why am I even still offering 20? Doesn't even matter. So I look at Pinterest and say to myself, this is a name which is struggling as well. It's not getting off the hump. So Snapchat, these fall in the similar category. So there's still room for it to fall. Brendo.
All right, Kevin just getting set up here. We'll bring him in as soon as he is ready, guys. We'll get his opinion on this number this morning because this has reignited the sellers, it would appear, for the overall market back to the downside this morning in a pretty big way after that jobs report comes in much higher than expected. There he is, Mr. Wonderful, back with us once again. We're thrilled to have him and get his opinion on not only this report, but what's to come next week. Remember, on the 10th, we'll get the CPI number, inflation, you know, all the rage here as we head towards March and a potential interest rate increase coming. I'm not sure if we have audio for Kevin at this point.
I think you do. I think we're good.
Okay, perfect. Good to see you, as always. Welcome back. This is a huge report this morning, huge jobs number. Got to get your opinion on this right out of the gate.
Yeah, so now the Fed is in play again. You can see it on the rates going out on the bonds. For sure now, the way you got to look at it and why the market's having a little hard time digesting this is you got 3 hikes coming. That's what this number says. Economy is doing very, very well, very strong. Pandemic's waning slowly but surely. And the Fed is a little behind the curve. Now, you could have debated it 2 weeks ago and said, well, maybe they're not going to move as fast as everybody thinks. And that market was weighing that every day. We had started to see volatility come back. But there's an old classic line that hasn't been around for over a decade now. In fact, many investors haven't experienced this, but you don't fight the Fed. And the question is, the first 2 rate hikes, even the first 3, generally don't spoil a bull market. And the reason is that it's really because the economy is so strong. So you've got the counterbalance. You're saying earnings are going to grow maybe more than 8% this year, plus a 1.5% dividend yield. So you're talking 9.5 on the year in terms of appreciation. But now you're fighting with the Fed because the bond market has not been a competitor for stocks at all for 15 years. But if we see the bond handle get past 4.5, 5%, on a 5-year, for example, which is a long way from here. But when the Fed gets going and it starts cranking, it can really move fast sometimes. Instead of 25 basis points, 50 basis points, 75 basis points. We've seen that. It's been done before. It's happened. And so those that remember that are getting a little concerned, and you're seeing it reflected in equity markets like today.
How much interest, Kevin, should we be paying attention to how much the first one is? We saw a 13% chance for a quarter point as of the close yesterday. That goes up to about 35% currently following this jobs number. So obviously in March, it's going to be one or the other. Second part to that, CPI number coming next week. How much weight do we put behind that?
The Fed is data driven. They keep telling you that, so you have to care. What was really concerning to me, and the market is obviously reflecting this, was the upward revisions on the data. Remember, the pandemic caused all kinds of problems with data collection, but those upward revisions, in addition to the strong print, really show the underlying strength of the economy, and this gives the Fed every right to raise 25 basis points. So I would say the probability is more than 50% that we'll get 25 basis point rate hike. So you go back in history and look at what 25 basis point rate hikes do. It's already reflected in the market. You've already had the sell-off. It's already put pressure on tech stocks. Anything with high P's already baked in. So what often can happen is you buy on the news. It's the reverse. You get the rate hike. It's not 50 basis points. It's 25. And all of a sudden you get some relief in some of those sectors that have sold off. Because you got to remember something very interesting about the tech sell-off in this cycle. These companies haven't stopped growing. They're growing at 20, 30, 40, 50% in some cases internationally. And that hasn't changed. What's changed is how they're being valued. The PEs are being compressed, but the underlying growth is still there. And so you're going to, at some point, this tech market becomes a big buying opportunity, and individual names. I'm nibbling in Meta. It's getting crushed. 25% off retail in 48 hours, 27%. So, it's still the world's largest advertising platform, still has billions of users, still growing cash flow, and it's a behemoth. It's on sale. Traditionally, it's only missed its numbers 3 times in a 10-year history, and every time it was a buying opportunity. And everybody always says on a miss, oh, it's different this time. The company is 20 times larger than last time it missed its numbers. So to me, these are opportunities. It's painful. People can't stand it when they buy it and it goes lower the next day, but that's the nature of buying into a position like Meta and bringing it up maybe to 3.5% weighting. There's so much opportunity in corrections.
I want to make sure we get to Google and get your opinion on the stock split. I mean, this week has been just a slew of earnings reports, obviously, but tell us your opinion on this Amazon report from last night, because an interesting move this morning for the stock. And then thoughts on this Google split. It's about time.
Yeah, I mean, basically, cloud services at Amazon grew 40%. I'm not talking about growth. I just talked about it. Here's an example. So this company is one that is a winner in this market. However, this 10% move or whatever it is right now doesn't even get it back to what it lost from the beginning of the year. So it's a performer. It's like Microsoft and Alphabet. They're all winners on the performance metrics. Facebook's a loser, and many of the social media stocks have been dragged down with Facebook. But at the end of the day, the inherent power of the consumer shift in demand globally, not just domestically, is that Amazon is really harnessed that. So consumers have now, after 2 years of being in their homes, decided forever they're going to buy direct product and services, and Amazon is at the fore of that and is being reflected in this pricing. I think if you're going to dabble in tech right now, you're just putting on a position right now. You want to own definitely some Alphabet. You want to own some Microsoft. You want to own some Amazon. And then you can go through some of the international names. I want to note that Charlie Munger, who's considered a very conservative investor, just bought a whole ton of Alibaba. And he doesn't even like the Chinese. Well, he did it because he knows that economy is going to grow and continue to grow, and he wants some exposure to it. So I own Alibaba as well. Those Tencent, fantastic growth. It's been crushed by the new rules the Chinese put in place about video gaming, et cetera, but still it's there growing. And so at the end of the day, you want to start looking and pick your different positions. More of a stock picker's market. However, I would argue that you can still buy an index in tech and get a bounce, because, boy, these stocks have been crushed.
Mr. O'Leary, thank you once again for coming back on our show. And it's almost like we planned this because I was just going to say, and this is not about your O'Leary funds or anything, but I feel like right now this is a stock picker's market, but I'm losing my hair picking stocks here. And I'm almost fed up with picking stocks, because yesterday you had a name like Snapchat, and we talked about Meta, and I agree 100%. I'm trying to buy as many dips as I can until I run out of cash. But, are we really wise to start to pick up some of these names? Like, I'm almost feeling like Amazon has underperformed the SPY over the last 3 to 4 years. Can you believe that? Amazon underperforming? So I feel like we should be diversified into some kind of an ETF, some kind of a overall kind of fund like that, because honestly, picking stocks, like, how could one guess what was going to happen with Snapchat? I just feel like, right now, although you got to buy the best companies, what is your opinion maybe selling some of these and moving towards an index fund until this all settles down?
Well, I do that all the time. My core holdings are in indices. I happen to be involved in indices, and I'm talking my own book when I say this, but the core of my operating company's positions are built around an ETF called OUSA, which is a subset of the S&P 500, really boring product, but it has the highest quality balance sheets out of the 500. It discards all the weak balance sheets, discards companies that have high debt, discards companies that aren't increasing their dividends, and just leaves me with the highest quality. It basically tracks the index with a lot less volatility. When you get a quality balance sheet like what's inside of OUSA, you'll recognize all the names, but they're balanced in a way. For example, we don't own something like United Airlines because it's got $27 billion of debt. Pre-pandemic, I think it was down to 7. So that's an upside down balance sheet. I don't want to own that. Now for tech, I go to OGIG. That's 50 plus of the world's fastest growing tech companies, including Meta, including Google, but they're not the fastest growing, believe it or not. There's other companies in Asia and Singapore that are behemoths, multi-billion-dollar companies that are growing faster because their economies are growing faster. And then for Europe, which is an address everybody has hated for 10 years, but is now outperforming because the P's are so much lower, I use OEUR, basket of 50 companies in Switzerland, in the Eurozone, in Euros, and in England. And that's how I eat, because those all pay dividends. That's the strategy. And so for me, it's boring as hell. It's good to be boring right now in volatility. Then I pick my spots. If I want to overweight Meta like I'm doing now, I mean, that thing has been thrown out with the baby, the classic baby with the bathwater situation. And it's not over yet because that stock was heavily indexed. In other words, every single sovereign fund on earth had a 5 to 6% weighting in Facebook. They thought it was safe. Now they're going to drop that weighting down to 2.5%, 3%. So there's a lot of toilet flushing yet to come, and that's where you're going to get your opportunity. When a desk has to sell $40 million worth of stock, which is happening all day long right now, I talk to these sovereign funds all the time. They're reducing their risk on Meta until they prove out the new business model. And so they're going to take it down to 2.5 from 5. And that stock all has to get flushed through the system. And that's your buying opportunity. You can be a retail or individual investor and take advantage of what a sovereign fund has to do to rebalance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely nibbling in on Meta right now, and I have your OUSA up here, and yeah, it's the volatility in a name like this has been fantastic. I mean, you're just hovering around by the highest quality names, a great little run up there, and like you said, it's not to talk about your book. We could talk about SPY or anything, but again, another great a great fund there. We always talk about this. I have the same thing on my wrist all the time. What's on yours today, Kevin?
Well, I'm very proud of my company, WonderFi. I'm an investor there. They just finished a $40+ million financing. They've announced the purchase of the Canadian license for the first crypto market exchange. That's a big deal. And what you got to understand about that and why I like that investment is I am now agnostic to the price of crypto. I don't care what Bitcoin sells for. I just want it to be really volatile, and that it is doing. Because when you own an exchange, you just want volatility. You're making your money in both directions, and that's exactly what's happening with WonderFi. And I think it's a fantastic company, well run, and it's going to continue to build out that platform and give a place for me to invest in crypto and be agnostic to volatility. I love volatility. All of a sudden, I'd love to see Bitcoin go up and down, $20,000 an hour. That would be fantastic because it would drive traffic to the WonderFi exchange, the BitBuy exchange that we just announced we bought. And we're not stopping there. I'm sure the management is looking for other opportunities. That's why I'm staying behind them. That's why I own that stock. I'm very interested in what's going on there. Crypto is here to stay, no question about it. And I would say one other thing that should be on the mind of investors that are dabbling in crypto and Bitcoin mining, et cetera. Something I learned over the last couple of weeks in talking again with institutions, this ESG mandate, let's talk about that for a second. This letter from Larry Fink, this declaration on sustainability that he put out a few weeks ago and sent around the world. Larry Fink and BlackRock are the largest money managers on earth. They manage more money than anybody else, including every sovereign's money. Practically every country is managed by BlackRock. All of a sudden, he comes out with this letter. I don't know if you guys read it, but basically what it says is, if you don't have a sustainability mandate, if you don't have an ESG discipline, we don't want to manage your money. Now, that's one hell of a statement. And it matters because now when I talk to institutions, they're saying, tell me about the sustainability of a WonderFi, for example. Does it have a carbon mandate? Before we buy it, we want to know. What about your Bitcoin miners? Right. So after I saw that, what I did is I sold Marathon. I sold Riot. I'll tell you why I'm scared about it. Those companies use carbon credits. That's how they say they're green. Well, that's BS, because if you audit them, you actually go in there and audit them, you're going to find out the tracking error on carbon credits is crazy. There's no way to know with certainty that they're mining Bitcoin without using, at carbon neutral rates. They're just not. And I'm very worried about that. So I want to get ahead of the curve. I've sold those positions, and now I'm investing privately in miners that are doing it off hydro, wind, or solar. So I don't get in trouble with institutions that I service in the indexing business who have those sustainability mandates. My coin now are mined in northern Quebec and in northern Norway and in BC, and I own them clean as a whistle. Nobody can tell me that I'm offside ESG. There's not going to be any carbon on it because there is no carbon. And that's the thing you got to watch for. You got to look at your names in energy, in Bitcoin mining, and wherever else you're investing, and see if it passes the ESG smell test. It's no joke anymore. It's a real deal, and institutions are watching.
Great couple 100%. Points there. That's why we love to have you on. Thank you, Kevin. And just another point that you made about Alibaba, you're not going to believe this. You may already know this. Its forward PE is 2 right now. So let's get on the Charlie Munger bandwagon here and join you as well, Mr. O'Leary. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll just throw you back quickly here to Brendan.
Great stuff. We appreciate your time. As always, Mr. Wonderful, Chairman of O'Leary Financial Group. We look forward to the next visit.
Thank you very much. Take care, guys. Have a great trading day.
You as well. Let's get set here, guys. Couple minutes to go for the open.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, doggy.
The market made a battle back. I guess they liked having Kevin on there, but either way, the market battled back to the upside. Snap made the break. It broke 35.50. It got stopped out. Took the second shot off 36. It's now back to 35 even. So wild swings already as we head to the open. I got that any stock as well, but I got to quickly show you guys what happened here in the NASDAQ. We'll go NASDAQ. You broke 14.4, and then we've snapped back 100 points. So volatility, like we said, with 1 minute to go, is here. At the open, I'm expecting that spreads are going to open up like they did yesterday. So if you're in something, just understand it might move a little faster, a little farther than you anticipate. I got one other position that was this any couple of times here off of 260. Let's see if we can actually hold out that high. Roblox off of that 60 level, which never broke. Not sure why I got stopped out in the first place if 60 never broke, but I'm back in.
We got long $60. We took $1 on Roblox already. Money. The sticky note already crushing it today. Facebook short, Roblox long, $1.50 now in the money on Roblox. Man, are we abusing this Tim dude. He's ringing the bell again today as we get it. I got to make sure that this guy's all calm and cool and collected. Roblox now $1.13 in the money. Get ready to rock and roll, Tim, as we go 5, 4. Get ready for an awesome Friday. Yeah, buddy. The market is now open. Let's get going here. Roblox, hello. What's up, guys? There it is. Yeah, $62 now on Roblox. So let's get ready to rock and roll on that one. Can we? Actually, I might not even get this out. Let's just see what Roblox does now. Up to $62.60 right there. Is this a really battle day? There goes everything. Let's go, guys.
Yeah, Snap just hit that 35 even. If it breaks 35, definitely. Not open yet, by the way, in the NYSE. But if it breaks 35, I think we're headed back to that 34 range. But remember, bigger spread opening up even as we speak. It's like allow it to settle down a little bit. NYSE still not open. Pins is the other one I wanted. It is dying. Remember I said, what am I doing shorting Snap instead of Pinterest? What am I doing shorting Snap instead of Pinterest? I say every day, whatever. Pinterest dying.
Yep, Pinterest dying. Snapchat dying as well. We're 50 cents in the money on this one. Is this coming down to the downside? Ford, we've already cashed out of this. That's a good one. Roblox right now, $1.70 now in the money on the high side here for RBLX. So far, so good there. Let's go over to Facebook quickly to see what's going on with Meta as it battled back a little bit there, up to 234. It's now taking this down right now. I think we should try to go short now on Meta.
Yeah, and going back over to GM, it broke that support level at 51.70, so got shellacked and has not come back at all. I think if it hangs below $50 is support down to 49 even. Otherwise, this is just a short. Snapchat now $1.50 in the month.
Let's go.
Greg's excited about it. Hit some keys, man.
Let's go, guys. Yeah.
We can do 2 at once.
Snapchat Tank City right there. That was no surprise on that one. Let's go to the downside. We said short that till 35.50. That's where we actually took the short because we got blown out the first time. Let's see where it goes from here. Facebook. We are short Facebook. Finally. But we're not going to not get this out, I don't think, are we? We are now in the money $1 on Facebook. Let's sit there on the bid. There it is. Bang. Nice little 75-cent win on Facebook. Flushy goes the market right now to the downside as Snapchat rips back up again. So Greg goes from hopefully getting out of his short to now into another short. So here we go, Snapchat. We just reloaded. So let's see if we can get some money on this one. Snapchat is wild, Neil.
Yeah, absolute crazy action here on Snap, guys. We're seeing just crazy spreads, complete insanity. I just got in and out off of that 37 level. Gonna have to try to get back into this one off of the top because it looked like, for all intents and purposes, was about to break 37 even.
Let's go!
Monster size shows up at 37 and now it's flushing. You're getting a huge move also. Facebook went 36 back to 33. Just complete insanity off of this open. We didn't even talk about a few names here, but we'll get to some of these other ones in a quick second. I was going to talk DWAC, but you can't do it while you're seeing this. 34 to 37 and back to 35 half in, 20 seconds?
Okay, look at that, nice little reload, and we just took some out right down there as now Snapchat is Tank City for Snapchat, guys. We're short at 36.50 right now. 36.50. We are short on Snapchat. Let's go, guys. Good trade here to the downside on this name. Oh, yeah, and by the way, today, we learned from our mistakes yesterday. Wow. Because now we are short Facebook, down $1 now in the money on this name, $1.20 now on Snapchat, guys. Let's go. Let's get this party started on the right side. Oh, yeah, and by the way, Ford, 50 cents in the money on Ford as well. Big time trading today. I hope you guys are all enjoying yourselves because I know this is a big one.
And I did mention I will go to DWAC in a second. That one actually screaming to the upside. Everything else going down and looking weak. 85 to 87, that's the level from yesterday on DWAC. As it gets close to that price, you know what I'm going to try to do, guys. I want to be short in front of it. Another possible head and shoulders forming here. But you got to let it get to your price, and it's just grinding very slowly up here. As a low of the day on Facebook about to happen, I'll check in on Amazon for you. That has broken that support. That likely, I think, could head market to the downside. Once again, market looking pretty weak. I've reloaded on Roblox as quickly as it went up and gave you profits. Whoops, that's on the New York. As quickly as that went up and gave profits, it's come right back down to test 60 even. So stop is not going anywhere. Brendo.
ALJ Regional Holdings. This is a stock deal. So this is a merger deal, guys. If you're seeing this one up 21.5%, there's mostly stock. There's a cash portion as well, but just be aware of that.
In the money. Look at this. Sorry, Brent, I can't even hear what you're doing right now. My mind is just going everywhere. As right now, we are now $2 in the money on Snapchat. We are now $3 in the money on Facebook as Facebook continues to drop, man. Down to 230, guys. Down to 230 right now for Facebook as that continues to march lower, lower, lower. We are on one today, guys. This is what we're talking about today. It is one of these kind of days in the market, which sucks. The market's actually fine, but today we picked the right names, man. Ford, all that. Roblox, bye-bye, that's fine. We'll take the dollar. We'll get out for flat. See you later, alligator, on that one, as the kids say. Down to 230. Maybe we just get out of this name at 230. Maybe there is some love coming back in Facebook today, but hey, right now we're pretty happy with this one. $2 in the money also on Snapchat. We just touched that low of 34. Let's bid 34 right now and see what happens here on Snapchat. And then if we have to hold the rest, we will just do that as Snapchat coming back down to that level.
Yeah, and market's going to be cracking these lows pretty quickly here, guys. I remember GM, $50. I just took that any out, by the way. First leg at 250. That stock is probably just going to get absolutely flushed. But Pinterest, my God, Pinterest. This feels like one that got away. It's trying to make a bounce. If this thing thinks it can bounce, while Snap is testing the low at 34, I can't see any way. This isn't going to end up negative today. But it can happen. I'm going to get into the short finally. Just remember, this is probably $2.50 away from where I should have had it this morning. So you got to take multiple shots at this. First off 25.50, the pre-market lows, and then off of 26. But I got to get on the pins party at some point.
Yeah, so we are out of everything now. So we absolutely just crushed it. Everything out of that. We just got out of Snapchat right there on that bottom. And so now we'll wait to see where there is a possible reload coming up on Snapchat. Oh, man, that reload was huge up there. I actually did not mean to get rid of everything on Snapchat there. You might have heard me say something under my breath, but we did dump everything right there. Didn't realize we had two offers, so we'll try to reload some of the Snapchat shares up on the high side right now. And then we did get out of our Facebook, guys. Good trade there. Short 234, out 232 our last piece. It does go down to that 230 flat there, so that was an area that we probably should have identified as an out down there at 230, but we did talk about it, so when that goes back up. But look what's happening right now to Ford. Sorry about this, Ford, but it is just tank city right now on Ford. Let's get some out. This is $1 now with the money on Ford, so there's some levels here at 17.75. What a horrible, oh wow, what a horrible report Ford threw out today. Very, very disappointing on that one. We'll have to find out what's going on there, but big time movement there. Reload there and Snap as well to the downside. So let's wait to see what we're doing now. Facebook trying to find a bottom, and it's just right back through 232 on the downside one more time, but this has been a fun day.
Yeah, PayPal is at 121, guys. There's a lot of names that we didn't get to. We'll get to PayPal here. 120 to the downside. That doesn't even look defensible. You want these to actually settle down before jumping in front of the sword. It's 937. Remember one of the rules? If you look for any kind of bottom picking, sometimes you wait till 9:45 or 10 o'clock. I wanted to get to square here because it just bounced off of 100. You know the 100 level was able to hold. It held in the pre-market. Here comes 100 again on square. Brendo?
Speaking of Alibaba, filing Form F6 with the U.S. SEC this morning to register another 1 billion American depository shares. So Alibaba down on that, guys, just bouncing off 120.
I think that was an interesting idea, though. I may get into some more Alibaba. Obviously, the risk with Alibaba is the Chinese, right? The CCP, they're coming out and throwing down. And I want to say a shout out to John Morris. We're talking about him on curling. He's part of Canada's national team there, over there in Beijing, as we talk a little bit about China. Okay, so Snapchat, we're in that one. Ford, we're in the money $1. If we take out, I mean, I'm debating just getting out if we take 18, but it's been a good trade here for Ford. Let's see if we can hold a little bit more off that disappointing number. But how far is too far down? It wasn't horrible in the way that it needs to be down, in my opinion, 11%. But Ford is off of a nice run, so maybe that is something there. And there it is again, man. Spin the money, because we just got another bid there. As you could see, that was really the savior right there, that short. I didn't even realize we got some out at 36.62. This was an absolutely insane time. We had Greg chanting and cheering and hooting and hollering as it came all the way down to the downside, and then within the same minute, it ripped right back up and then right back down. So Snapchat, obviously, a very options-focused name here on these kind of moves.
But check this consolidation, right? Like, look at 34 down here. If 34 breaks, look at the gap fill. I mean, obviously, the gap fill is monstrous. But if we get another run to the upside, it could absolutely squeeze. I think you almost can't go wrong, because if you go to the long side on a trade here, essentially you're risking to 34, and you might be breaking 37. You can also then wait for a short side breakdown at 34. Just remember, the stock is up 42%, but it's SSR. It's short sell restricted. You cannot hit the break to the downside without an uptick. So there's lots of liquidity. I think you probably get it if you do. But I actually want to play this in both directions, because one way or another, it's moving $3 off this level.
Snapchat. Oh, Snapchat.
And Square at 100. I just got 115, testing 100, in and out. Faster than you can even imagine. Square dying, 100 is gone.
So you went long. Oh, you went
I was
long and
long.
then out.
I was out
okay.
instantly. 15 cents in a second.
15, yeah, that's crazy. Well, 15 cents on Square is actually a good out. We'll look at Square as well, but let's throw to Brendan quickly.
Big mover yesterday, guys. This KAVL got back above 1, went up to 130, came back at the end of the day, but huge volume just went off there as we broke through session highs for KAVL.
Yeah, another one of those
I remember
names.
that from yesterday.
You were in and out of...
I should have gone... Oh, my goodness.
I was going to say, you're in and out of Square, but it did rip back up.
Of course
That's probably the same as Roblox right now. Yeah, bounced off that 60 level as Roblox starting to go to the upside again as well. Look, I like this. In and out, that's $1 we put in our pocket, and then we lost. We were long at 10s, and we got out at 90, so we lost 20 cents. We still should be up 80 cents on that name. I am looking for a reload here in Snapchat as that just keeps going to the upside. So let's put an offer out here, see if we get it in the 40s. I was waiting for 80s up here, so if that can come through, then that's a name that we're going to look at for sure. What else is on our sticky note? Ford, obviously, still that nice little move to $1 in the money. We shouldn't have got out of everything, but we're still holding a piece there as Ford continues to make a move to the downside. All we have on our list today, guys, look at these 4 names. And look at the ones we've traded here today. Maybe I'll call it up on our sticky note quickly here. We've traded Ford today. Win. We've traded, here it is right here. We've traded Ford today, that's a win. We traded Snapchat today, that's a win. We traded Facebook today, that's a win. We've traded Roblox today, that's a win. We're gonna go 4 for 4 here off the sticky notes. So far, so good, but Snapchat position pending. Oh no, Snapchat's my biggest winner. So, but we should have got more short there. I wanna reload that a little bit, and I wanna look at Facebook, but Facebook right now just dancing and not doing too much at these levels. That was a good reload right there at 233 and change.
And pins goes right up to that 26. We take it off 25. We're in and out quickly, tight stop. We wait for 26 area. Just got short 90, literally 99s actually. Then first leg we'll take in front of 25.50. Then get some more out in front of 25. I got first leg into DWAC as it approaches that 85 level. I like 85. I like 87. I think both those levels can be traded off of here today. If it breaks out from 87, there's always a chance you could see 90s relatively quick. So I'll watch out for DWAC there. And then pins. I did say, sorry, not pins. I'm in pins. I did say on Snapchat that there was a decent chance we could go like $3 in either direction. It's trying to bounce to the upside, but that break still holds. I'm hitting 34. SSR or not, I'm going to try and get the fill. I'm hitting 34 if it tries to break that level. So I think it's worth it. The longer it holds down here, the crazier I think that break could be. But Snapchat, crazy volatility. The other level, of course, is if it tries to take 37 to the upside, it could be just as crazy. This has been absolutely insane, but you want to slow down, pick your levels, pick your spots. Like I just got wicked out of Square, and then it was back up in like 2 seconds. Brendo?
Another big mover from yesterday, Spotify, just popping back up here, guys, through some levels from late in the day, or trying anyways. Heads up on Spotify, trying to go as well.
All right, and I have to trade Palantir. People will think that there's something wrong, so we'll do that right now. We got long 49s here on Palantir. We're taking a piece out there at 54. Let's see what happens now to the downside here on Palantir. We do have some protections here. I'm not going to marry this one. Let's just see if it wants to go back up to the upside right now off of a nice move here. As the future's starting to go, I feel stupid because we should have hit Facebook right there. We should have had Facebook long through that level of 233.60 there. Consolidated. Now it's starting to go up to the high side. Maybe we do have a nice rip here in Facebook coming through 235.65, a good level. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try a long 235. And, you know, again, it wouldn't be me if I didn't try it. So let's try that. 235.65. We'll probably cross up a couple pennies here. We'll cross up to 80 or so. Let's see if that wants to work. So I'm not going long Facebook until A, we get back down here, or we get like, you know, a decent trend change up here to 235.65. And then we can get out for $2 or so if we lose on that one, which hopefully we don't. But we'll wait to see if that one comes back in. But so far, so good here, guys, today. XOM looking good. Yeah, oils is rough.
Like, this is what I mean by square, by the way, just to show you visually on the chart. Back to 103, back to pre-market highs. This open is absolutely insane. I'm telling you, Snapchat, I'm in pins, which is the one. If you're going to sit in one, it just feels like if you get a good level, it's going to be a little bit more safe to be in that. But here comes Snapchat. We did short it in front of 37 the first time. I'll do it again if it gets up there. But I don't want to be touching this inside of this, in the middle. 35 to 35 and a half. It's almost like a sucker bet. Like, you're out of the money, $1 at the blink of an eye. I'd rather trade it off of this high or off of that low, allow it to come back, and as it tries to go higher, this is what's going to happen. Pins, I'm reloading in front of 26. There's your top at 26.50. If that breaks, I'm going to be out, but I'm going to be trying that again at 28, which is the high of the day. Facebook, by the way, putting in a bit of a recovery. If Facebook makes a breakout, I wanted a fail break and then a jailbreak on this at some point yesterday. It never really materialized, if this will ever actually load. This gets through 237, and Facebook could start really breaking the backs of some of the shorts.
Okay, oh shoot, there goes Facebook right now. We are long 235.75. We just talked about that one. So we'll see if we can take this to the high side. We did talk about that was the break that we wanted, but that came a little faster than we had thought right there. That shot right up like crazy right there. What is this level? 236.70. That's where we're sitting right now to see if we could take $1 on this move initially. We've already made our bet on Facebook nicely here. Short 234, out right there 233. And then out again at 232. So it's already been a good trade for us right there. Ford, we complete our Ford trade and spin this because there it is, man. Ford short 1870, out right there 1790. It does go lower, but obviously we didn't get it, so we'll wait on that one. Wow, Facebook just turned around. We could have had right there. We were long at 35.70. The highest it goes is right up here to 50. So let's put our offer right now at 236. 236 like 45 or so. We'll offer that and see if we get picked up there. That's where it stopped last time. So let's see if we can't, make 70 cents on this. And then if we're right, we'll hold some for the way back up. And Neil, as you mentioned, man,
wow.
Snapchat still motoring here. Very, very surprised.
I'm waiting for 37, man. I got to reload on a fail break in DWAC. Pinterest, I'll give it 26.50, but Snapchat, I'm waiting for 37. I want to get to Tesla because Tesla, we missed out on a huge move on Tesla yesterday off 880. Back there, double bottom, 883. It just broke 900. What am I talking about? It just broke 900. But look at this potential break that you're seeing here. If we can get through that 900 level, hold the bid. There's so much room to 925, 930, let alone resistance at 950 on Tesla. This is one we have to be watching. So 37, I think, could be there on Facebook. That's kind of what I'm waiting for. I just finally got back into Snapchat. I said I would wait for it to test higher. It got to 36.5, so I'm back into it. Let's go to this chart. Got back into it as it got closer to that 37 mark, and I'm just trading off the boundaries, right? Like, this is insane. Like, it just went to 36.50. Before I can even finish a sentence, it's 50 pennies in the money. So playing in the middle, I'm not doing it, man. Like, forget about it. Like, I just wait for it to get to the edge, then take the trade. It's completely insane, the volatility we're seeing. And I'm flipping back and forth like pretty quickly here, right? So DWAC stopped out, immediately put a failed break at 85. So I get back in when there is a failed break. That's what I'm generally always going to do. it's right back to 83. So I got 84.70 here. I just took some out at 83.40, but I did stop out the first time. So I took a hit on the first DWAC trade, getting it back here as DWAC turns around off 85. Brendan?
I threw this out there early this morning, but worth a note here, guys. Royal Caribbean out with not a great report either, saying that Omicron will further delay them getting back to profitability. So day lows here, not a lot of volume yet, but down 4.5 for RCL.
Yeah, we did the same thing here, and we'll spin the more money here as we'll floss it off for Snapchat, and we get that bid or that offer at 36.60 there. Exactly what we wanted. Same type of deal, man. If it breaks through 37, then we don't want that. It looks like Facebook. We will take a hit on Facebook again, or not again, but we will take it right now as it's going to break through that 234. This is my out. It breaks through 234. We're gone. I just, there it is. So we're out of that one. So we got out of Facebook right there on that break. That's fine, man. I mean, it's right in front of that little level there, but maybe we should have not taken that. I actually didn't even, let's just try that one more time there. I think we might have got it up premature. Let's use the VWAP there. It was the wrong level. That's my mistake. We shouldn't have got out of that one. 233.75. So if it breaks down through 233, and again, this is it. I'm not going to chase this anymore. We were super, super happy with the result of going short here, how easy that short was. Look how easy the short was, and look how hard this long is right now. So for right now, we'll go back long. That's my mistake. We should not have stopped out, so we'll get right back in right there at this level. And our average price was 235 flat, so it needs to go back up there in order to count this as a win. But we are counting this as a win right now as we roll the dice on Snapchat, and that's going to the downside. Another 40-cent win here for Snapchat on the downside, guys.
Yeah, just keep reloading. It looks like it's going to be good off. If it takes out the top, by the way, just to be clear, like it takes out that 37. Snapchat is breaking all the shorts back. I mean, a lot of shorts backs at that point, and it might just be a jam to the long side. Pin's a similar story, right? Like it was just giving me profit back at VWAP, and now it's trying to break out 26.5. So if it gets to 28, that's the other shot I wanted to have early in the pre-market. It should have been that one first. We didn't take it, but it's getting pretty close, right? Hang out at the top end of the range. That's where the winners have come this morning. DWAC looks like it's safely below that 84 now, so it's starting to settle down. And then Tesla is trying to hold this bid. Now, the NASDAQ's turning around a little bit. It's trying to hold this bid at 900. I mean, if we can consolidate near the top in the future, and then we actually get this hold at 900, Tesla could be absolutely off to the races. And the name I usually like to trade when it comes to the EV space, there we go, Lucid. I mean, obviously it was a good short, but you got to look past that now. Monster V-shaped pull here. If it holds the previous pre-market lows, like these 27s, you could get a huge breakout on some of these names, guys. Like these are huge V-shaped bottoms. If you break out from them, you can have as much volatility to that upside. So be wary. I am short everything right now, but I'm looking at what could happen the other direction. Brendo.
Another earnings name, guys. Bristol Myers looking pretty good here. They reported pre-market. Decent numbers right across the board. Trying to hold at day highs, just working my way through some of their earnings names so far, but this one looking pretty good.
Okay, guys, right now, so just looking at this one, Snapchat right here, we are destroying this name, as Neil and I just talked about it here, to the downside. Like, play off some key levels right there, and that's all that we're doing is just cash, cash, cash right now on that one. And then, obviously, Facebook, guys, we tried, I said we tried, that's Facebook. We tried the long both times out right there at this price, and now, of course, it's going to go back up to the upside. I want to keep trying the long on this name, to be honest with you. I think it's overdone to the downside, needless to say, but I don't know. I'm going to have to give this one a little bit more room if I try it one more time. So we're going to have to give this one back down to 234, and then that will be it, man. We'll give this one more try here long, and then we have this bottom of 233 flat. We won't use these lines anymore. It doesn't look like they're going to be working out too much. Play the momentum, play key price levels. Don't, I'm trying to go off this. We tried to trade through there. That looks like that was the short that we should have had, but again, Facebook trying to make new moves here. And again, we've had such a great morning that, we can sort of withstand some of these plays right now as Palantir comes back in. This market is now above, but the trend is now changing here pretty good. As right now, look at Snapchat making new lows, not new lows, but making new moves down there, trying to go. Yeah, these lows would be nice, 34. So let's hold out hope for that one.
Even if I'm short up here, I'm still taking a 34 breakdown. Like if this goes like $2.50 in the money, I'm getting more shares when it breaks 34 even on Snapchat. Brendo?
Is moving back to the upside here on the watch list this morning, guys. Unity Software coming off a good report, got back above 100, holding nicely, trying to get back up to these levels from pre-market, guys, for you.
Goodness, that's right. Look, and here's the thing, we're never meaning to ignore. It's like, I know there's a lot of other things happening in the market, and we're never really trying to ignore them. It's just there's so much to watch here that you've got to really hone in on your trades, and you never at the open want to have more than 3 or 4 names, but Unity making some strong moves. Look, I was going to go long Tesla if we could have held that consolidation break. It's not happening. Market now falling, so it looks like these shorts are going to start to come in. I'm going to go to the one which is not performing as well as the others. Snapchat looks okay, but DWAC holding VWAP a couple of times here. So I'm going to adjust. I'm going to get some more shares out in front of VWAP. And then just in case it comes back up towards that high, I can then make a decision whether I want to reload or possibly look at an 85 break. So here comes DWAC. It looks like it's going to be heading to the downside, but it bounced off VWAP once. Does it again, I got to make sure I'm taking some more profit.
I feel like that might have been like Aunt Kathy all over Snapchat there. As there it is, take another bid there as it goes all the way to 36 and right back down. We'll still offer up here if it goes back to the upside. So let's put another offer right now. Like right where we got it last time, 36.40, 36.60 is where we're short right now. 36.55. Let's just put the same price there again. We'll offer that on the upside. So we just put an offer right here, see if that wants to rip up. Because look at these wicks, man. Like you never know what this is going to do. So like right now we're $1 in the money, and it's just like it could spike right back up there. Like it was just trading down to 35. It ripped up $1.50 in 3 minutes, right? So watch out for that one. Very, very volatile name. There goes Facebook. It's going to take out 33, and then we'll watch out for that one to get out of Facebook. It just sucks to keep showing you all these longs because they're just not working. We're long at 233.70 right now. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like it's going to take this out right now to the downside. So we are long right here off 233. It's bounced off there a couple times. Let's see if we can't win here on a long finally for Facebook. The only thing we've won on is the short, which should be obvious. But again, like it's just part of my DNA to try to catch these dips. And it hasn't worked out today anyways in Facebook. Yesterday was my #1 stock because we hit the short, and it was great today for me until we started to switch up a little bit here, thinking that the market wanted to bounce higher, but that appears to be incorrect. Palantir? Go ahead.
I was going to say DWAP. I just got more shares out in front of VWAP, and then the next candle is down. Down to 82 here. If you remember from yesterday, it was an 80 break, so there's no way I'm not going to consider and respect that 80 level. Current 81 bottom, that's a good target. I'll see if I can't get a bid out in front of that 81 as DWAC hits 85, failed break. We jammed in the short twice. I had to take it twice, and the second time's a charm. Brendo, what's up, bud?
Yet another one catching a bit here off the Amazon report aftermarket yesterday and today as well. eBay, guys, looking pretty good here, back towards these highs from that report yesterday for eBay.
All right.
So I'm gonna do this quickly for Goldman there. You're absolutely right. Goldman, we talked about this. Look, you're the one that put me on carbon, and I didn't make any moves. So I feel like an idiot for that. But just quickly on Danaher, it's actually trying to break that 290. It's only flat on the session, but remember, earnings were fantastic for these guys. And then the whole plan was it holds that 60 area. You can add after earnings. It's right back up to the 50 period. So, this is one that needs to hold above 295 for another leg up. They're a growth name in healthcare more than anything else. So this is not some boring dividend type play. But good look there, Goldman. Thanks for reminding me. Here's Snap. This is the reason you get some in front of VWAP. Look at it hold this. It holds the bottom, 34. Holds VWAP. I know you guys know the pattern that this is setting up here, back up towards that 37. It could be jailbreak central. I know I've only shorted this stock, but man, if it holds a break above 37, we could see $40, right? And I actually wouldn't be surprised if Snapchat halted today.
All right,
it's easily possible.
Yeah, Snapchat easily possible. What happened? I hit the. What didn't work is that little weed smoking beat guy there, Lucas, if you want to check that out right now. But we'll fire up some hot dogs right here. No problem. We'll fix it after the show. Because finally, it's hot dog time on Facebook as that name starts to go back to the upside. So there's a nice couple wins there as we make it back on Facebook and are positive on this stock now today. So there it goes back up to the upside. Position pending. But if we were to flatten out right now, Facebook would be a positive name. So all of that messed up right there, made it back with this one move off of finally, guys, like sometimes you got to And again, this is what we talk about Arun and how great he's been on the show with us to learn things. And the number one thing that I've learned from him was just sometimes you got to sit back, relax, take some cognac, wash the money through the laundromat. And then if you do that, you're sitting back right now and you're chilling out and you're not over trading names. You're looking at key levels. You're making the right decisions, right? And so let's slow down. We went back. Instead of playing off all these lines and playing with momentum and emotions and things like that, let's just wait until it came to a level that we could trust down there at 233. And that's where the reload came. And now we go right back up to the upside here on Facebook. Hopefully this can fly. And there it is. One last shot here for Snapchat for me. If it breaks through 37, then we will punch a little long. But right now, last opportunity. We just went in at 55. No matter what's going to happen, Snapchat should be a positive name for us today. But something's going to happen right now at 37.
No, exactly. Like, it's the only thing I'm watching is this 3.7 level. And I think it's just, it's worth it for a bit of a reload. I waited for it to actually tap the top before getting any more shares back into the short side. Like, I just feel like I have to make sure that it's not going to just run right through that level and run you over. But we'll see. Like, I just got more shares. I think it's 75 or so. I mean, that's how quickly it's moving. Like, I put the offer in. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I got 75. And I actually have to double check to make sure I got 75s. I'm going to get a little bit more aggressive in first outs instead of waiting for 36. I'm thinking more like that 36 quarter to half level if I can get it. Because look at what's going on here. You cannot ignore the fact that it's trending back into this upside. So inevitably, I think that means that it's going to test and break the level. So I should be taking profit a little bit sooner each time through on Snapchat. There isn't a name which is, that I can say that's got a better opportunity right now to be going back to the well with. By the way, Any's trying to test 270. If it breaks like 71, 72, that's my last out. Those small caps, it's not as sexy and not moving around as much as something like a Snapchat. That's why we're covering this. And by the way, DWAC actually caught a bit of a bid. It's still below 83, but VWAP has to hold for us to get that 80 target.
Here we go, guys. Let's go. It's Palantir. Yesterday, Palantir can take a, you know what? But today, Palantir is a nice one, guys. And again, look at this reload there at 43. It bounces and it just rips upside right now. PLTR, another one on the board right here, 23 cents in the money. We just took out another piece of Facebook as well, as that just bouncing around 235. So we'll take a piece out there. But we're super happy with this Palantir move. Let's get out one more piece and then hold. See what happens to Palantir up near the high side right now. As we get ready to throw over to Brendan at the big screen with happening now.
Hey guys, 10 o'clock, just like that. Here we go. Look at how we stand right now. 0.2 for the S&P back in positive territory. Good to see the Dow to the downside ever so slightly. I mean, a bit of a choppy start overall. Worth noting, though, it is tech that is leading here. 0.8, 0.73 there for the composite and the 100. NASDAQ here in Toronto, we are positive as well, nicely. 0.7 as we're seeing some strength coming back into some energy stocks once again today. From the watch list this morning, Twitter, I wanted to mention that 35 level. It got tested twice, but we're already back above 36, trying to head higher for Twitter, another big mover from aftermarket yesterday on that report. Tesla as well, looking pretty good here, trying to test some of these levels from yesterday in the afternoon right now, guys, back above 900 for Tesla. Back over to you.
There's a 37 break, so like you said, eventually it was going to break this level.
How did I not get
went
long?
Into the long. I'm always going to scalp out some on the initial move. It goes to 37.40 up at the top there, so just got a bunch out in front of that 25 to 40 range. Next legs up. I mean, look, guys. You start to think about how far this can go. You've got the 50 period at 42. You have $40 an obvious level. And then from there, it's quarters, it's halves, but it has to maintain this break first. Usually on a breakout like this, you're going to get a pullback into that original 37 level, and then maybe the next consolidation. That's 36.6 here. So your minimum give is back to 36.6 to see if this is a sustained breakout. Anything below that, it's sort of your guess. Like, do you think it's going to 40? Then I think you can hold it to 36 even. If you actually think it has juice to 42, which I don't necessarily think, then you're probably giving it all the way back to 35. So I'm going to look at this 36.6. If it consolidates there, I think it's worth a reload on Snapchat. But what an unreal morning of volatility here in this name. It's crazy. Like, that 34 level just held like gangbusters, and now you're breaking back out. Look at these shorts that it was giving you, and all of a sudden, it's long at the top, right? Like, this is crazy, crazy action. By the way, NASDAQ testing those highs, up almost a full percent. If that breaks out, watch out.
Yeah, we actually missed that to get out of Snapchat. Like we had our order. It went out at 37. It's just we miss it. Like it crossed up huge. I don't know what price you got on that.
07?
But 07. It's like I crossed a 10. So I don't know what's happening with my orders. But no surprise that my computer continues to mess up. But we're going to talk to somebody about that on Monday. As Snapchat goes to the outside, so we tried to get short there on that second move, but again, we waited for 50. That was not great, as now Snapchat coming back down to the downside there. It's been a good morning. I mean, Palantir is hello. This is 33 cents of the money. Roblox would be now $2.50, and hopefully you guys just stuck with the watch list, sorry, not the watch list, the sticky note, because we said long 60s. Unfortunately, when it breaks, we get out, but there's the out right there as well. Not a heavy position as it was a pre-market trade, but still, we should still have that one on, but we do not. Snapchat, we did give everything back there. Okay, we're gonna go short now on this name. Let's see what happens. I mean, not everything back, but that move sucked because, again, like we missed it. So we had to wind up getting out at 30s there off of this short 60. So, you know, that right there was 65, 70 cents worth of a hit there that we shouldn't have had. But again, like, look, this is short 36.60. These are outs 35.60. So that's $1 here on the win. But then we do, like I said, give some back there. Let's try the short against 37.50. If 37.50 goes, obviously we'll clap out of this one. As there it goes, man. These are, This reminds me of AMC, honestly. The way these are buying, people are buying these is crazy.
It's like it's like squeeze, like when you see gamma squeezes, when you see short squeezes, like this is kind of like the nature of what it looks like. Like you're just getting a liquidity vacuum every 5 or 10 seconds. Like it breaks a short consolidation, and it's not like it grinds up. It's just everyone pulls the offer for 30 pennies, and then it finds another level. So, like I said, I'm going to be sitting up here. If it breaks 37.50, the current top around there, the next legs are out in front of 38, and then I'll probably jam out of all of it in front of 40. I did mean to be all over Tesla, but watching Tesla, but then I did miss this as Snapchat was going nuts. You got to watch Snap. It goes right back into VWAP. Reclaims 900 and is looking to break out just as the futures are also going. And I do still have that DWAC short, which I now have to be a little bit concerned about because it was holding below VWAP. I thought for sure we're going to get that bid out in front of the low of the day, and now we're going to be retesting some of those highs. So, you know, get to that 85 level. It feels like maybe I don't want to reload. If one thing squeezes, other things can squeeze at the same time. And I don't know if I need to be trapped in DWAC off of 85. So I'm probably not going to be reloading this one in front of that high of the day.
Oh, man. Yeah, so Facebook, by the way. Thank God for Facebook today. We had it on the downside, now we have it on the upside. So Facebook is a winner here for me today, and a decent one at that. So we're really happy with the way Facebook is sort of pairing out for us here today. Now $2.40 now in the money for FB. So as that name continues to go, we'll continue to obviously make a mess out of our Snapchat as we are now reloaded into the short. 37.58 we're short at right now. So wow. I don't know, man. This thing takes out 38. I just tried the reason why I keep going short here is that I miss, and it's just so stupid. Here it goes. I missed the 37 punch long, and now it's just like, oh my God. Like if we were still long like Neil is here, then yeah, we'd be like just taking these out. But unfortunately, we keep battling with the short side here on Snapchat like we were yesterday. But yesterday is a different day. Today, that's not appear to be a short side trade. As there it goes. Okay,
it's crazy.
We'll take some of these profits out there now to the downside. It's not profits. We're just taking out, like relieving some of the pressure here as we do have an oversized position now on this, obviously. So let's wait to see where it goes. We'll relieve some pressure now to this downside here on Snapchat as it's starting to come back in a little bit. $3 in the money on Facebook, though. Let's take one more piece out on that one. There it is right there. We'll go, yeah, buddy, and we'll fire off some sausages right now for that trade. As there we go, out at 236. Neil, go with your Snapchat. That was a good reverse.
No, I was about to do this. Like, it's a roller coaster, but you got to understand what's going on. This got to 37 break. It got to 37.50. I'm taking profit out in front of the 50 level. It slams back down, gives you a re-entry better than 37, breaks out, goes right to 38, take a bunch of shares out at 38 and you're right back at 37.50. Like I said, it's just every 50 pennies. Like don't get, if you're going to go long or short, like wait for the average, wait for the even level, take that and then just get, if you want to scalp it, you get out, not for 10 cents, hold it for that 30 to 40 cent win in between those 50 levels. Now, at this point, I'm definitely only going to give this back to that 36.5, 36.6 level back in here. Like there's no point. If it gets down to 36 even, that's too far. I still think it has a chance to go up to that 40 level. And by picking and choosing here, and again, if you're trading Snapchat, I don't necessarily think you're trading anything else. If you're trading Snapchat today, as crazy as it's been going, but just checking back in on Tesla, it looks like that break might be happening. Look, I would have wanted this one off of a 900 level here. It's got whipsaw action as well, and it's going to be difficult to try to watch futures, watch Tesla, some other EV names, and try to trade some Snapchat. So I'm not going to do it, but I do want to go back over to Pinterest if I can, because, like I said, if there's something that I wanted to short, Pinterest here, while Snapchat is going like gangbusters, I got stopped out on that third short in Pinterest, and it's not really going anywhere. So I look at this 27 level. I mean, right now it's at 80s. That's like 20 to 25 cents worth of risk when you factor slippage in. So 27 stop makes sense to me. It goes to VWAP, and you're talking about $26 even. So I'm going to take another crack here at Pinterest, only because as a Snap is breaking out, it might take 38. Pins is going nowhere. So I want to play it the other direction. It's a risk to reward trade. I understand this is an obvious breakout setup, but risk to reward, it looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, we're just sitting here watching this Snapchat. Like, thank God we were able to take some profits here back in as we did that last reload right there and then some short out. But it's just coming back down now and bouncing around this 38. It's looking like it definitely wants to take that. What's up, Maggie? How you doing? Right there as we take it out right now. Palantir, 50 cents in the money, and it's just climbing, climbing, climbing. I mean, this is... Like, we talk about Palantir all the time, so we'll go yeehaw today as that name is way more aggressive than the market today, up 4%. Some of these names that have just been getting clapped, like Clover, like Roku up 7% today. Just as I look through my board here, we can have a quick little look at this watch list right now. These are names that I'm looking at, obviously. Ford down 10%, GM down as well. Starbucks, I don't know if you guys can see this, Starbucks down. I know it's hard on the eyes, but look what's up today. Amazon, I mean, that's not a beatdown name, but Amazon's up there. Hut 8 is up. Shopify's been getting killed. Spotify's been getting killed. Some of these weed names as well. Twitter, which everyone thought was dead in the water, which I still think it is, up 5% until Google buys Twitter. And then we have Square. Crazy, Neil, like 105 now for Square. Some of these battle back. And then I don't even want to look at, there it goes. I didn't close that, but there goes
quickly,
Snapchat.
Guys, Snapchat just did a failed break at 38. So you know what a failed break means? It could jam hard to the downside.
Yeah, let's go.
I got some shares out there at 37.85 on the way back. I still have some, but if it's a failed break and I'm sitting in the long, I've got to take some pressure off and take some out because that can be back to 36 in a hurry. Usually I'd be shorting a move like that. But I just got Pinterest short, which is a pretty solid proxy.
Yeah. Okay. Just looking at Palantir here. Let's get some out. If it goes to 85 or so, we get. You know what? Let's let that roll a little bit. Okay. So right now we are now 50 cents in the money on Snapchat. So I do have a bid at 34 flat, but let's just put a bid right now. If we can get out in the 20s, that should be good. I didn't even realize how much this was tanking. I was listening to Neil's talk about that. As there it is. Yes. Snapchat, good trade there. As we hold Snapchat though, you can see we still are long Facebook. But hey, man, that was good. Positive day on Facebook. We'll give it back here a little bit, but now the tides are turning as the NASDAQ is reaping its evil head one more time. Tried to take out those highs, man, right there. Tried, did not work, now failed down back to this little level. So I'm debating reloading right now on Facebook, but again, we do know that there is the out down here at 333, so maybe we'll just hold this a little bit now. Palantir, I was gonna get out at 85, it just bounced off that level. Again, I'm gonna hold this until a lot lower. Let's just, you know what, this hasn't really worked though. Let's maybe just cash out of our Palantir now that I think about this. It's been a pretty weak stock over the last little while. If we can find out when they report, Brendan, because it has to be coming up pretty soon here for Palantir, and that's going to be nervous for me because you've seen what's happened to stock when they miss. Oh, God, and if Palantir does that, man, like how low can she go? How low, Brendo? What day are we looking at?
It is Feb 17th. for Palantir. I want to mention this as well. ExxonMobil, guys, another multi-year high today. So up huge again today. Just broke that day high as well on volume.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like, we want to be looking at some other names here. I know there's so much moving out there. Don't get like, I get it. You're going to be actively trading, and you got to pick your spots. And there's just no way. Like yesterday, I think it was in 6 positions at this time at one point, or at least at 9:50 or something like that. And I was determined not to have that happen today. So it's Snapchat, it's DWAC, it's pins right now for me. I'll get back into any because it seems like you can't break the high. But pins, I took to the short side while still in the snap long, and it rolled over. Some out in front of VWAP there. We got 77s around 75, so I'll get some out at that 26, 25 level. Like 50-cent wins are nothing on this chart. $26. This is what 50 pennies looks like. The stock was at 24 at the open, right? So volatility is absolutely huge. At this point, I'm basically holding, what am I holding left of the Snapchat? Like 10% left of Snapchat because it put a failed break on. I did reverse, and I took the short in Pinterest, so that's kind of a proxy at this point. But like I said, I wanted to give some of this back to this 36.5 level. If I believe that some of that long can get you to $40, then I have to have at least those shares on board to take that retest back into 36.50. So volatility is bigger, so changing the approach a little bit. And speaking of volatility, here's DWAC, which I said, no reload for me on DWAC. No reload for me on DWAC. It's right here at that 85 level. This has a chance to break back out. So DWAC on the verge of a break. So much moving right now.
My friend Palantir right there, guys. Let's do it. Let's go. Market green right now, as the market is green. The NASDAQ up 0.8 right now. And look at Facebook right now. Facebook absolutely flying. Look at Palantir. Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. Nicely done to the upside right there. We hold out for that level. We get it there. But look at what's just been happening in Snapchat. I mean, you know, which way am I going here today? All shorts, baby, today on Snapchat. As you can see, I actually like this look better. Look, short, 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 short. And it's been a good one. So Snapchat right there to the downside here. Let's see what happens right there. Facebook, we should have reloaded. We talked about that down there, but I was trying to wait, be a little more patient, see if we get a 233 build. We did not do that. Now we'll see if this can take out some of these highs of 236 and change. Roblox is probably, yeah, damn it. We should have held on to that one. I can't believe we just got out of that. We should not have got out of that. Why am I getting emails from Expedia? I guess they want me to go on a vacay, and I guess maybe we should do that at some point as well. Bitcoin going around. You know, I meant to ask, and we ran out of time because Kevin was a little bit later than we had thought today, but you could see here, I want to talk to him about Coinbase, because Coinbase, I know he dropped WonderFi, but you know, what is wrong? He was talking about he loves the transaction costs coming through there as an exchange, but I wanted to ask him then what his take on Coinbase was. Right now, this just keeps getting beat down. I mean, it's pretty much trying to level off here, but I think I'm excited about Coinbase through a 200 break again. I was lucky enough to sell right before earnings up here at 360, so I do have cash sitting around to reload this name, but I think I'll do a pass on this one. But Coinbase just still nicely up 4% today.
Yeah, and I just got stopped out on the last of that DWAC. So we took 2 legs out for profit, then 85 goes and breaks. No reload, like I said. I want to go back to that any stock because I was shorting it, got some out in front of 250, reloaded and got stopped out in the morning. And sometimes with these small caps, it's just, I get it, there's things moving a little bit faster. So until there's a trade, I won't say anything. It broke the high just now, 280, and then immediately put a bit of a fail on. So the high that it now sits at 84. When I see the breakout at the high, which is what I was waiting for, instead of sort of averaging into that price, I'll try to get back in front of that new high of the day. If it does not sustain this break, I think I want to be holding it down to 250 at least. And then the previous high was here at about 240. So that's your target area. So re-entry into any. The high is 284. I'd probably round that to 285 and put the stop there. Brendo, what's up, bud?
CFEI just popping up here at day highs. It looks like 1250 was a bit of an issue yesterday, late in the day. DWAC as well, just trying to make a day high here as well. So some volume coming back into these guys.
I think we'll put a bid a lot lower here on Snapchat, guys. Like, let's put a bid right now at 36 flat and see if we can get this name down here. Eventually the short was going to come in on this name. Obviously, at some point, shorts always come in. It's just a matter of how much pain can you withstand on this name. But maybe 36 is pie in the sky right now. But the way this thing moves, like it was just 38, now it's 37. So that's down $1 right there. We could probably push down another $1. That was only 10 minutes ago. That we were up at 38. So now you just cracked down. Wow, okay, I didn't even realize we touched down there. 36.70 right now. So maybe making a move back up. But Neil talked about a little bit of a proxy. I'm kind of like back and forth here. Snapchat, just like he had the Pinterest short and the Snapchat long, I'm kind of the other way right now with Facebook. Facebook story was yesterday. I still think obviously there's some movement here today, but we're still long Facebook, $2 in the money, and short Snapchat, 57 cents in the money. And that was a lot better. Yeah, someone just mentioned their Hood. What's up, Amrit there? Thank you for, again, all the love on the chat, guys, for today. Yeah, wow. Okay, Hood, I see you back here at 1570. 1470, sorry, we were looking at 15 level there. So yeah, this is, Amrit, probably a decent short. We don't have shortable shares. Let me just throw out 100 shares. No, we don't. Nope. So I got to pay for these shorts to get them. I don't know, man. Aunt Kathy seems to be on a buying spree today. A lot of these names are going crazy. What is ARK even up today? It must be up, no? Yeah, 3.72 as Tesla, Neil, at high a day as well. So that's another name that we've sort of ignored unless I don't.
No, I didn't get a fill on it.
There's just so much happening. It's not that we're ignoring Tesla, but there it goes, Tesla again. Just a rocket ship off that 880. How many times are we going to talk about 880 every single day? It seems like 880 coming into play there. Where's the 20-minute chart on this thing? There's 880. Like, look at this. Bang, bang, bang. Right into here. Happened yesterday at the close. We had it again today. 880. Very, very key for Tesla. So let's see if it flows back down into that area.
Yeah, and again, like, man, I know that's a level I should be all over. It just sucks. You can't trade any. And I know you guys are looking at Snapchat, and we had to focus on it today. Like, there were just so many good moves to be had. Things are really starting to settle down in some of these names, like Snap and Pins. You can see consolidation here, so take another leg out. Snap, just to go over this one again, I have gotten just about everything out. I'm holding a little bit left for that 36.60 level, right? Like I wanted to hold 10%, because if it breaks out again, I think you probably see 40. So I want something on board. Bottom to top is a $4 move, right? So I think I should at least give the breakout a little bit more room to try to run here. I also did mention what I would do over there. And yeah, who cares about any? I'm not even going to. I said I was going to do an any. I did not cover, and apologies for this. I meant to talk about GME. I meant to talk about General Motors a little bit more. I thought the bid would be 50, but it looks like it's consolidated 50.75 and it's trying to break back out. So I might have missed out on this completely. On the off chance it retests down here at 51, I'm going to try to get a bid in this one. I did want to bottom pick GM today. I missed the level by a little bit and then never, I didn't look back at it to see how hard a bottom it made at 50.75. Like that's 4 or 5 times it tested and now running to the upside. So kind of a miss here on GM, but it didn't get to that 50 level after all.
Yeah, you mentioned GM. I'm just going to quickly look back at Ford as, again, one of 4 names on the sticky note. I've traded only the 4 names that are on the sticky note plus Palantir today. Ford down 10.5%. Yuck, man, nasty. I'm not happy with these dudes. But again, definitely a name that you got to buy. If you're not long Ford, I think you could take today as an opportunity to do so. I'll stamp that right now. I might even buy it some more myself. But I generally like to look at 3-day rule, right? Which is why we're not stepping back into Facebook quite yet. But there you go, Facebook and Ford. Ford takes down this level right there. That's something that we ain't happy about. So Ford to the downside right there. Nice little level, but still not really moving around here. Goes forward now. So let's wait to see what happens there. Breaking lower. I don't mind getting into this level, but I don't mind it back here. It's got to come back a little bit. I don't want to test it as we're breaking lows now and back in on the market a little bit. Oh no, market's still up high. Sorry, I thought we were cranking lower there because Facebook just touched a little bit lower as well, down to 233. And guess what? We did one more move before we throw to Brendan. We reloaded right there on Facebook. Just so you guys know, our out is coming close though, man. It's down to 233. So Facebook starting to go back to the other side now, but we're still happy about Snapchat. Facebook, not so much at this time. It looks like it's going to be EBON. So let's go over to Brendan right now for the small cap recap.
Hey guys. Yeah, very quiet morning once again for small cap stocks. I'll show you this one because that just happened. Wasn't doing anything until a huge volume spike just came in. So big pop for EBON back to 330. This doesn't get interesting until you get to 130, I should say. It doesn't get interesting until you get to 140, 150, which is this area on the daily chart. So a little ways to go yet for eBang International. But watching that one, this one, I mean, kind of boring so far for any. I tried the short initially, got back above 270, 275, starting to hold. So I actually got long on the break of the high there. We'll see what happens. This has a lot of room. One of the reasons I did flip long, this has a lot of room all the way up to 350, 375 if it wants to get going, but needs some volume to come back in for ANY, guys.
And there's another small one moving here today. You might recognize SNDL, better known as Sundial, one of my favorite stocks out there. Not really to own or anything like that, just to short it. And like it's up 8%. You're seeing it move here. Now I want to see it get to like 55, 56, something we can dig into. But if this starts to make a turn, I'm probably going to take about a gazillion shots at finding a top on that name. Sean already talked to you guys about Robinhood, but another, I guess another name in this vein, I suppose. AMC making some moves here. It's not huge yet. It's only up 3%, but I just want to come back to a gap in my chart there. I just want to come back to some of the levels from a couple of days ago. 16, a big one. 1650 to 60, a much, much bigger level here. So I think it can break 16, and then you got to be a little bit cautious or at least patient with it up to that maybe like 40, 50, 60 level before I would think about reversing in this one. Snapchat, which I said I had the last like 20% left of, or sorry, 10% left of, it just stopped out, so I'm out of Snap for now. It has a chance to maybe bounce off 35. I still think 34 is your monster level, and that just means that if that's going down, Pinterest is at VWAP, right? So I'm going to hold through. If Snap is coming back down to that 34 level, then I want to be holding Pinterest all the way down to 24.5. Make sure that we give this one some room into that downside. Now keep in mind the context here. I know Snap is all over the place and Pinterest rolling over, yada, yada, yada. But the overall market here, if you're watching some of these longs and bigger names, this is a NASDAQ just attempted to break the high before pulling back. It's making another run at that high of the day. ES, pretty similar story at that 44.8. So we flushed on that jobs number. NASDAQ battling it back here, up almost at 1% again, and the ES trying to get back to that 4,500. So there is a battle to the upside being had, notwithstanding some of these crazy movers off earnings, which are bouncing and you're playing off of the range. Overall market is trying to break out.
This is hilarious. Like, we are actually, after 19 fills on Facebook, we are flat on the stock. So if we had just not messed around with these longs, we would still be up right here. We're up on the day, and part of that is because of what's happening right now with El Snapperoonie, all the way back down here, and we're waiting in the 20s to buy some of this. So why am I even doing that? Let's just bid right now, man, and get some out on Snapchat. We've just held this one all the way downside here. So I just put a bid there and it ran away. Let's see, 38's running away again. There it is, 37's out. Yes, sir, there it is, guys. $1.40 on Snapchat. As we hold that one, guys, we're still positive on the day. I'm just a little bit upset there about Facebook. I'm upset that we still don't have Roblox. But what's up now, Brendo?
Another one moving here, guys. Just checking on Take-Two, TTWO, with a big volume spike there and a pop to, 174. So heads up, 6% for TTWO.
Take-Two on the move back down here. Well, not back down. Consolidating off the top is Tesla. I mean, it bounced like $4 down. That's not a heck of a lot on Tesla. But look at how well it's respecting VWAP. Guess what round number sits there now? About 900. So if we pull back, hold the lower high on the NASDAQ, it's about 14.5, 25, 30, something like that. As long as we're above that number when we get to 900 on Tesla, I think it's worth a stab. I'll probably go ones or twos on the dip buy. I haven't gotten into it just yet, but I just got out of Snapchat. So obviously I'm holding Pinterest. Now I want to see if I can get into Tesla finally on this trend up. If it's going to break this high, I'd like to see it maybe test VWAP one more time. I also mentioned General Motors being one that we wish we'd gotten into. I'm still on the bid, looking for that one also to pull back into VWAP. I mean, we've resisted the top and pull back several times in the future, so hopefully this will give us an entry into either one of those names. And
isn't that crazy about Snapchat? Like,
it's
I was talking to
crazy.
Greg about it. Like,
It's crazy.
you were like, we were both long, short, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, wow, what a nuts name there.
This kind of volatility, it's just like, this is what you look for when you're day trading,
Yeah,
or
yeah, it's
I guess
great.
trading in general, but it's amazing. And I think it's kind of here to stay. Like these earnings moves, they're telling us what the volatility levels are like. It's completely nuts. Like everyone, it didn't matter what the earnings were last night. Trust me. All that mattered was what direction people were betting, and was there anything that could push it the other way. And if it was the smallest thing that could, it was breaking people's backs. So keep that in mind, as other names still have yet to report. It's going to be spicy. And if you hold those shares, sometimes you're going to have to sit there and stomach some up and down. But if you like the company, who cares?
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at with O'Leary there, because I was trying to talk to him, but again, we ran out of time there. But talking to him about, maybe not individual stock picking, and going into a Qs or an SMH or something like that, because this volatility, like people were long 100, and we can look at AMD right now again as we're just shorting Palantir against 13. Just a big move up here. If the futures do come back off a little bit, Palantir probably will fall. But this is not. We're not even like close to talking about giving any of this back. I mean, these trades, and this is what you're going to notice with me, like I'm shorting now, my average price is 94, the out with slippage hopefully will be 02. That's 6 cents. Like, I mean, we can give that back to try it one more time. Snapchat looks like a great out there. Remember, we were short third. Like, these are all shorts. Like, and as crazy as I say Snapchat is, and again, this is why we try to stay as disciplined as we can and not really switch up our game plan too much. But, Snapchat was blowing out all these shorts. Just very lucky that we were able to get this one right here, and all the way back down into eventually cashing out of a piece right there. We are now back into the long on Facebook, but I actually think Brendan was called.
INDO, a name that has been popping up over the past couple of weeks here on social media sites, getting a lot of attention on Twitter as well. Starting to go once again, 27% here for Indonesia Energy, back to 5.
Uh-oh, it's on that good. INDO, I'm going to add that to my list, but worth mentioning at least, if not necessarily always a day trade, Clorox is down 14% on their earnings miss. Pretty ugly for Clorox here, as you can see. I mean, the low of the day sits right at 140. That's kind of what's drawing my attention. Big name like that, I mean, 140 even. Yeah, that might be at least a little bit defensible if I see any kind of a bid. It's doing good volume because it's earnings. It doesn't usually trade enough for a day trader to actually care about it, but 140 on Clorox, I'd probably give it some room because while all this was going on, remember Square? Long in front of one. Yeah, I mean, I know you guys remember.
Try to not remember it.
Sometimes you just got to give it an extra 50 cents. Putting a stop at 100 is kind of sloppy and lazy. And it's sloppy because when a lot of things are going on, you kind of just throw the stop order out without really thinking about it. Because you get it in front of 100, put the stop at 100. Now, give it to like 20, 75, give it to 50s. Because when volatility expands, like I was talking about a million times, you've got to give things a little bit more wiggle room. Now, it's not Snapchat at 37, where there's a huge order up there and it's already got a $3 range. Square's a bit different. Like, it's going to test that, which it already has bounced off. Give it a little bit more room, then you can actually have this $7 winner. I hope somebody's long Square, because, 100 on this thing has been absolute gold, right? Like, look at 100 yesterday. Didn't break it, and then goes up to 107. And look at 100 today. Touches it, breaks it by 20 cents, and goes to 107. Sometimes you just got to keep it simple.
Yeah, and look what's happening right now, guys. We are just keeping things simple by dropping grenades everywhere here. Look at this Palantir short, guys. Short 95, ho-hum, another dime piece right now. In the money on the downside right now for Palantir. As the market just cracked a little bit lower, we are waiting here at 81s right now on Palantir as it's coming quick to the downside right now, but maybe it just resisted that. Wow, Snapchat's still going to the downside as well. So this is really working out for us today, taking some of these plays. So far, so good. But again, I can't learn as we are watching this 323, 3. I wish it was 323. It was 2 days ago on Facebook, but down to 323. I said it again. 232 right now. This level, you break, we down on this one. And Neil just talked about, thank God we're still positive on Roblox here today, because if I didn't take that out, I'd be peed off as well, because there's that lazy out that Neil was talking about. Same on Square, same on Roblox. It's on the sticky note to go long at 63, or at 60, sorry. There it is, a beautiful move. We followed follow our own rules and take the long and get it out for $1. That's $1 right there, right? And then we lose, what, 10 cents on the downside? Come on, especially when I've already taken $1. Wow, there it goes. Let's go. Snapchat just touching off VWAP right now. It actually broke 36 to the downside. All right, Facebook, back upside right now. Let's go. Let's take, ooh, you tricky devil, you. We are just going to take that out as it just went. Right there up to 50 there. Darn it. We're going to get some out at 50 if we can for 50 cents. And then we'll see, because I was just like beating myself up over this Facebook. But if we can get it back up here, that's fine. And then we'll let the rest ride to the upside. So far, so good, man. $1.70 in the money with Snapchat here and a dime in Palantir. Oh, we didn't get that bid. I thought we did. Let's put another one out here.
Yeah, I finally got into, I keep wanting to say GameStop. GM here, bouncing off VWAP here, 51.10s. I got 21s long. I'll take some out in front of this 51.50 level and then try to ride it back to 52. If the market breaks out, I want to be holding on to something to the long side because I never got into Tesla. And I think if Snapchat gets to that 34 level, which I think is in play, I'm not bidding anything on pins. I'm kind of watching. If it breaks VWAP and breaks 36, pins likely to fall to at least 25, if not 24.5. So got it off the top at 27. I think I'm holding for the duration. Brendan, what do you got?
Bitcoin multi-week high here, guys, up more than 5% on the day. So is coin. My daily chart has gone to sleep, but never mind, because we're just breaking through 190 here on Coinbase, guys.
All right, yeah. I mean, again, we talked about Coinbase up 4%, and now Bitcoin, like we talked about earlier, taking out 40,000. So hold on a second here. Here's Bitcoin with a nice move to the upside today. This, again, is a 30-minute chart. Let's just do a 1 minute just to show you guys. Here it is. That's still 37. Move over, move over. There it is. Look at this move. Bang for Bitcoin. A beautiful move. 37.5. Good call there, Brendan. Up to 39.750. Wow. Aggressive move. For BTC, so good on anybody who's been looking at that name as this continues to rocket to the upside. Mara on alert, Riot, some of those names there for BTC, and then no surprise, we should be able to see HUT going upside right now as well. We talked about buying these names. Yeah, there it is, up 10 on HUT, guys. So a good name right there as Snapchat does. Ooh, I thought it was below 36 there. Just looking at my P&L, bounce back and forth. Thought we were below 36, but we are not. Watch out for that name.
Yeah, and someone asked, I forget who it was because the chat's moving quickly sometimes, but AMD, I don't mind taking a look at it. It's double bottom. It's kind of at a random-ish price. Ooh, I'll go to the 15-minute here. It seems like a random-ish price, but if you go to the 15, and I keep missing data on this one, so I'm missing some pre-market action from yesterday, but you can still see. Look at this 118.50, and this is a good lesson for everybody because when you get liquidity vacuums, and that's kind of what happens at the open lately or in the pre-market when we move down on the jobs report, sometimes the bounce will be at a relatively obvious level and you allow it to happen first. It reclaims 119, it reclaims 20. Either one of those can be your entry points off an 18 level, and suddenly you're not relying on a breakout trade. Now AMD at 125, I think, runs into some resistance. And if we're there at like 11:30 lunchtime, like that's one of those levels where it's an even level. It's obvious on the chart. You might want to think about just like that scalp short idea, but it's nowhere close to that yet, so I wouldn't jump into it or rush into it, I should say. Snap, I was now that I'm out of the snap long, oh, the 15 minutes, that's too cluttered. There we go. Now that I'm out of the snap long, I'm kind of hoping it breaks 36 down because that'll mean Pinterest is headed lower. But if we retest the high again, it's definitely going to be setting up for a break, but time of day matters. And at that time of day, I'm almost always shorting a double top, especially when it's already put on a failed break. Like that was 100% a failed breakout at 38. It snaps up. It goes right back down. The first consolidation, that's your short, right into VWAP. The reason I was covering here is because I recognize that's usually a short setup for me, so I had to be taking out some of the long, even if I like this jailbreak on Snap.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, so Facebook is still hovering, man. We are getting very, very close right now to, like you just mentioned there, Facebook possible jailbreak right now on FB. So let's wait to see if this is coming back down to that downside one more time here for Facebook. So more to happen. It's going to kick us out right now at 32.50 there if it does go to the downside. So watch out for that one here as Facebook starting to make a move back down. We just should have held our initial short. We talked about that, and it looks like we will get out of this one. It's only out 40 cents. I mean, this is not, too much to worry about, but it's still out of the money right there. Palantir coming back. We should have taken that 85 bid. We learned our lesson. We're on 85 now. Let's see if we get that. What's up, Brendo?
Bill, BILL in New York, another earnings name, guys, beat right across the board. Decent report yesterday after market, just breaking 2-day highs, 220 taken out there, guys, for Bill.
Bill, y'all.
Yeah, what was that? Was that an IPO yesterday? Sorry, I missed that.
No, Bill.com.
Yeah, Bill, I've never even heard of that stock, so that's why we ask about that one.
Oh, goodness, that might be...
Yeah, go ahead. I'm not even looking at it.
No, I mean, okay, so I pull it up, right? I'm like, I haven't looked at the daily chart of the stock, obviously, but yeah, there's your 200 and your 50 period, oddly converging at 225. Why can't this just go another couple of dollars here? That would be absolutely lovely. Like, look at that. Like, look at it. Look at this on the 15 after the gap up. And then try and follow here. Wipe out bottom that bounces right off $200, oddly enough. If this turns anywhere close to 225 and there's decent volume, now 2 million shares as well, oh goodness, that could be a fantastic short. 220 is not necessarily good enough. That's $5 away. So I want to see it maybe break out a little bit and then try to slam back down. But Bill is 100% going to be on my radar there. Good look by, I mean, it's always a good look by Brendan when he brings these names to us, but that's a fantastic one. Sometimes a new name comes in and it's worth it. Sometimes you get stopped out and you have to get that second trade back in. That's what's happening here on ANY. It's a little easier to see that top break and then that failure back in on the 15-minute chart, which is kind of what I like to use when I'm sort of holding on to some of these a little bit longer. It's breaking down. Now, the first entries I had here off the 60s that gave me down to 50, that's where my first targets are going to be in front of that 60 level. So I'm going to get on the bid now in front of 60 and then get some in front of that 50 level. From there, if it breaks 50, probably headed somewhere into this cluster where it was the last 3 days. That's a wide range. You play it by ear once it gets down there. It looks like General Motors, the first bounce was probably the best one. It's breaking VWAP as we speak. It's held 51 evens for now. If that breaks, I'll try again off the low of the day. But GM might have been a little bit late as the market's reversing.
Yeah, we're still holding on to Palantir now, a dime in the money again. So we did, try to smarten up there and take a piece out there at 87. We'll wait again down here. Hopefully we can put to 80. But look what's happening right now to Snapchat. Yes, sir. Finally, man, we'll go bang with this one. As I mean, this could be the trade of the day, and we'll just talk about like what was going on and how crazy this is. But Snapchat, nice move to the downside right here. Now down to 35 in change off of that short. So again, like short. Didn't get blown out up here. We actually waited for 38. The big out, or the big mistake, I guess, we shorted there and out there. That was a short right there, but yeah, nothing crazy. We missed the 37 break long, which is why we got out there. So this short here, we talked about this 36.60. That was the worst trade there because we wound up getting out for 60 cents. After that, now you could see in the money $1.95 right now on this trade. So not too shabby on that one. Palantir, then Facebook is just near 232. So we talked about where we're going to get out of this one, and it's going to be right here. If it does take this out, we already have some bottoms. Maybe average in, but I don't think so. We've already averaged in on this one, so I'm not going to add, like Kevin said, Mr. O'Leary, Kevin O'Leary said there, Facebook probably getting, the baby's getting thrown out with the bathwater, but, I still have the 3-day rule that I'm not going to be stepping into this one in my own account until probably either tonight, it's Friday, so maybe Monday after market or so to see if this one can get back
I like 225.
To the upside. Yeah, but I don't care about 225. Like, if I buy right now at 233, and
it's the same thing.
The bottom is 230, 225, then I'm as happy as hell on that play as we just retrace all the way back up.
By the way, the only reason I'm saying 225 is if you go really, really far back, that pre-pandemic high on Facebook was right at that 225 level, and then this is the breakout, back in, like, you made the pandemic bottom, and then we get the breakout after, and then look at it sort of just bounce back and forth off of that 225 level, and when it finally broke out, I'll zoom in a little bit more maybe, I don't know if you can see that pretty clear, like when it finally broke out, you see it actually hold, where is it? It's actually back here. You see it hold that 225. When it finally breaks out bigger, it's when it held that 225 after going back and forth. So sometimes these things matter. I don't know. I just kind of like looking at it. But it's 225, even on a day trade. Let's forget about where you pick it up because it doesn't really matter long term, 32 or 25. But if this continues to the downside, that's probably the level I'd look to defend, would be 225 today. Seems crazy, $7 down from here? Probably, but we've seen crazy volatility. So why not anticipate a little bit of that and think about where the crazy bid might be worth sitting on today? Speaking of the crazy action, it's weird because I'm looking at that board and I'm like, yeah, we're still kind of green on the NASDAQ. But yeah, sector watch, maybe not what you'd anticipate looking at today, although it does, I guess, feel like a down day.
Hey guys, yeah, we'll have a look at the overall S&P 500. Actually red still, 0.23 on the S&P to the downside. I mentioned at 10 o'clock there was some strength coming back into oil stocks. We saw a 1% move in the pre-market for oil. So oil, very, very strong. Energy stocks following suit, as we saw with XOM there as well. Take-Two, Twitter, right beside it there, 4.7, 4.5%. The communications group in positive territory. Other than that, there are individual earnings names standing out. Clorox, one of those. CLX, big move down today. Consumer staple stocks in the red anyways, even with that move from them. Industrials are leading, though. The entire group pretty much in negative territory. That's Amazon. Etsy below it, 5.5%, 13% for retailers off of earnings. eBay getting dragged along, as I said, almost 5% for eBay still. Back to the upside, that's Ford, 10.8%. GM negative as a result. 2% higher, though, for Tesla, having a nice day, kind of offsetting some of that. But overall, consumer discretionary and industrial stocks also in negative territory. There's strength in banking stocks and also in the tech group. Surprisingly, semiconductors mostly leading the way. Some software names as well in positive territory, helping to offset the rest of this board. So just 0.2 right now for the S&P. Guys, back to you.
What's up? What's up? Yeah, Alex, Enzo, what's up to all you guys there? Yeah, I don't really have, and thank you again for the Snapchat trade. I mean, you know, you guys watching this and like cheering it on, and maybe you're short, maybe you're long. Like, what I want to get to first of all right now, 1.3K likes, guys. Let's go. Let's get a likes thing going on here. One more week and Miss V's back, not next week, the week after. So if you can't hit the like button, we only have 1.3K. That's low for us, guys. We did 3,000 the other day. But look at Snapchat. Like, hit it for Snapchat if anything else. Look at this. Make it move to the downside right here, taking out these lows. We talked about it. I said we'd wait for 36. We took out 36.40. That even seems to be a mistake now, as we are now $2.50 in the money on Snapchat. And Palantir, how about that one? Look at Palantir. Look, long, out, right? This is long off of 44, out 90s there. And then look what we did. We went short now on Palantir. We short that 13 as now we're breaking lower on PLTR. So let's put another bid right here, 77 or 78 on Palantir. We'll see if that can crank down to that level. If the market fails, obviously, so will Palantir. Down here to the downside, probably fail a lot more than the market. So let's get this offer or bid in right now as wow, 250. Snapchat Neil is taking out 35 right now to the downside. So Snapchat all the way back down. One name that we didn't look at that I was talking to Greg about, it wasn't Snapchat that he was going crazy over. It was Amazon. So Amazon.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Amazon in the morning. Yeah, exactly. Snapchat made sense as well. But Amazon, look at this move. Boo! All the way to the downside there for Amazon. And then look what it did. Straight back to the upside as well. So a little bit of, monkey business here off the open there with a big sell coming for Amazon, and then a rip right back to day's high. And then it does that typical move, comes all the way back to day's high, and then gets faded out one more time. So there we go on Amazon.
Yeah, and someone asking, do we see what's going on with the yields, man? Yeah, I mean, it's breaking that 1.9. I mean, if it gets to 2, like, that's absolute insanity. Tesla got to 900. I took the shot off it, off that level, came down, tested it. It broke almost instantly, so going to snap out of that one. I'm using that one a lot here today when I'm watching a Snapchat chart. 34, like, I'm not forgetting about 34, right? Like, I'm holding on to Pinterest, and I will hold on to the Pinterest short as long as Snapchat continues to fall down here. But if we bounce off 34, on Snapchat, you could get a nice little rubber band action. It was just such a monstrous level in the pre-market. Like, this was your best outs were in front of 34 on the initial pre-market shorts. And then off the opens, your best outs were in front of 34 once again. Like, when that jammed out 37, it was a hard bottom at that same price. So you got to start thinking about where is this going to stop. I think it's an obvious level. It gets there. I'm definitely going to, it bounces anywhere. I'm probably going to try a long off of it again, and then I'm definitely going to be getting out of Pinterest to be sure. So I know it feels like looking a gift horse in the mouth in Pinterest. One thing to keep in mind is the market is also falling. So that is also working in our favor here if you're in the short side of any one of these two names. I did want to we'll take a shot at that bill. Obviously, it's like I said, I kind of wanted 225 is a bit of an area, but it's just too interesting not to be looking at. It's still, as the market falls, it's still holding up pretty well. So decent chance it could still break out and then give you that look that I wanted, which is a little closer in the daily to the 25 mark, breaking back to that post-market level that it got to, maybe failing at 22 or 23. That's what I would prefer. I don't have to force my way into the trade, but I think the risk reward looks fantastic if it does a fail break at the high of the day on BILL.
BILL. Okay, so, all right, Palantir, we took it out right there. Now we just have one small piece left on PLTR right now. Facebook broke through there. Excuse me, 232. You can see this one, it just broke through. So there it is. We tested the out and got out right there. So back and forth there for that one. I mean, I guess 35 was the bottom. I mean, people asking where's the bottom for Snapchat. I mean, it's ridiculous to look at a chart and say a name that yesterday was down 25%, today is up 50%, and to try to find some key levels. Like, honestly, we just playing the momentum to the downside right now. So, I mean, Snapchat just continues to make moves down. My out maybe back near 36 right here. I'm just going to hold this. I don't have a target. We obviously bought low today. Like, my best buy was 34. Then we had 34.20s. So why? I mean, what's changed? I mean, what's changed in Snapchat, right? So it shouldn't have made this move up maybe in the first place, but it did, and now it's coming all the way back down. So Snapchat, so far so good on this trade, and I'm just going to hold it. So anybody asking about that, that's sort of my plan of action there. Palantir, if you want to know, we only have 13 minutes left right now. It feels kind of like it's dragging on. How many likes do we have? 1.6K? Okay, we're happy with that. Let's go over to Softy. That was down to 298 or something this morning, and again, just distract. Yeah, wow, Softy. If you look at this level, and I'm putting myself out here because I haven't looked at this level, but down. Yeah, okay. So it's a little bit lower here. The levels that we're talking about. What about right here? We'll draw a line. It's right, yeah, so that's 295.50, sort of right into here, back on the 28th, and then you got some drop downs there. And this is all interesting levels because it's just after earnings. So that's why these are kind of the key levels. And if that wasn't a stock to take right there, then I don't know what was. Well, there's lots of opportunities, but 297 came in on a name like Softy. That's, we definitely should have done something there. So we'll watch out to see if that comes through again. But Microsoft, a name that we really like, and if we could take out, I mean, right there, a change in momentum would be nice. 304 to the upside, something that we're looking at here for Softy. So we got to get back to 304, and then we'll look at that long.
Absolutely, and look, Goldman, you're right about this, and we've talked. I think we might have mentioned. I hope we mentioned with Amazon. A large portion of what they made was, of course, the Rivian earnings, right? And I think we said one of the things that caught my attention more, and the reason for this is because of the way market has reacted to guidance. I was more focused on the fact that their guide on revenue wasn't that great. Like that missed expectation. But you're absolutely right that okay, so fine, they made a lot of money on Rivian, but that's not going to be there for them, and that's going to be prices that were priced in last quarter as well. So you look at this and how high it got here to that 50 period and start thinking about that being sort of obvious resistance. I'm not even sure we can get back there, but you guys are right to point that out. If we didn't say it, then apologies. My focus right now, I'm holding on to any that seems fine. I think Pinterest is about $1.20 in the money, and as long as Snap is testing lower, I feel okay there. Snap gets back to VWAP, and I'll reassess Pinterest. But this Bill stock is making a move. It just broke the high, at least last I checked. I bet by the time I flipped to it, is that still true? Yeah, it just broke 220 into the upside, so it's getting into that target range. If it puts a failure, current high sits 221, aftermarket high 223, key level at 225. If it puts a failure close to that 23 level, I think that's what I'm looking for here. Nice little break up, fail at about 23, and then I can get into the short with a 25 stop on Bill. It's not there yet, but you got to be prepared just in case it does happen. Something smells really, really good, Sean. Is that your coffee?
Yeah,
You're killing me,
the
man.
coffee is killing you right now.
It smells like I only get flavored coffee I only have flavored coffee on the weekends, but I love it. I look forward to it Saturday morning, get my reading in, and it's like you've got the hazelnut like right next to me the entire show. I'm dying here.
The wife.
Well, I'm sure it tastes great.
I mean, it's like I get up, some days I shave, some days I don't. You know, you have the shower, you get ready to rock and roll. And then when I come downstairs, the coffee's made, baby. That's how we're going.
Oh, and Brendan says you shouldn't have flavored coffee, by the way.
Brendan says a lot of things. Okay, so here we go. Facebook, look at this. Look how easy the short is right here on Facebook, guys. Like, we take it on VWAP there, and then boom, out for 70 cents. Like, why the hell am I even fighting this on Facebook? We went short, we reloaded the short, and now it's coming back down to the downside. Oh yeah, Brendan, look at Snapchat right now, down to 35 flat as well. Let's go over to Brendan on the desk.
A couple of names, or a couple of days in a row, I should say, for SENS. We talked about this one late in the day yesterday, trying to get above 3. Here we are up to 325. Nothing significant on this again today, but lots of volume, guys, for SENS.
And, okay. I'm going to put that to my watch list because I know Sens actually is a good trade. But guess what we're approaching? There's your break on Bitcoin here, and approaching that 40,000 mark. And you know this is following the markets often, but it's interesting. We're breaking out in Bitcoin. Thank you to the user who pointed this out in the chat. While the market's pulling back in, you're breaking out in Bitcoin, while the 10-year is also rising to the upside. Well, guess what? When you have volatility going crazy on individual names like this, some of your normal correlations, try not to think about them. Like, trade an individual name that's making sense to you, and try not to overthink what's going on. Like, oh, but this is supposed to follow that. When things are going haywire, like they absolutely are, you're going to get some disconnection. So that's perfectly, I'm saying it's perfectly normal, but it's an abnormal thing, which is kind of perfectly normal. So, focus on individual names, focus on trade setups, and then hit those. Don't worry. I mean, you worry about what's going on, but some of these normal correlations, they just don't matter when you start moving more. And speaking of Bitcoin, we're going to Brendan for Money Talks.
MT.
Hey guys, all about the US dollar today with the employment report. That's an hourly chart over there. You can tell what happened. We mentioned the 10-year. I showed you the chart of the 10-year. Yeah, 1.92. Here's what happened with the dollar on that report: 95.15 all the way up to 95.5 after a huge move down over the past couple of days. So back to the upside, 95.5 for the DXY, if you want to look that up and check it out yourself. 0.2 to the upside, as I said. The euro was actually up on the day going into that, but reversed. Same story for the Canadian dollar. 0.75% to the downside here for the Canadian dollar. British pound down 0.5%. Australia, New Zealand, full percent for both to the downside. The usual suspects on volatility in positive territory. Quickly, Bitcoin, 39,400 right now, getting back towards that 40,000. Same story for Ethereum. A nice day as well, almost back to 2,900, guys.
All right, we're just discussing that Bitcoin move, but we're going to floss this off anyways here. As I just want to explain to everybody how easy the short has been on Facebook. It's not that it's easy to take the short. It's not easy to take the long or the short on Facebook, to be honest with you. But just let me review this quickly. When we went short early, this was the same minute, and then 2 minutes later, we're capturing $2 on the short, right? Like, that's pretty clean break down to the downside. Look at these longs. Like, I'm long there, I'm having to average in, I get out, then I buy back, I have to average in again, and then finally it rips up. Positive, retracement, we're positive on Facebook here. And then this is like, okay, in and out, in again, and out, and then in again and out. It's like, all of these just didn't work out for us, and they didn't even really go to the upside. But we got this short off VWAP here, and then instantly in the same minute, this is 233.60. We got the bid there at 10. That's 50 cents, and then it was like 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes later, we got $1.30 on it. So, I mean, this is what I'm kind of talking about here a little bit with Facebook, is that the short seems to come in no problem. And part of that is, of course, too, it's not even part of that is the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ's not, it's moving. It's definitely moving. But, Facebook, a giant of its own. And it just seems like that short was just so easy right there for Facebook. What is happening, though, right now is our boy Snapchat trying to go back up to the upside here, trying to take out 36 And when it does that, then yeah, that's probably an indication to either reverse long, which I won't do, or at least get out of this short. But let's go over to Brendan one more time.
I just saw FSR, guys. Fisker having a nice day, up 4% on the session, 11.5. They announced this morning their Ocean will make its official debut at the Mobile World Conference in Barcelona, November of this year for the Ocean, guys.
There you go. Like there's what was it? Xpeng is moving huge today. They're up like 7 or 8%. So there's tons of movement happening in other places, and we're trying to cover as much as we can for you guys. Only 4 minutes to go. Like I mean, this morning. You talk about wild action, like this morning has gone faster than anything. So we're wrapping up the week crazy. But don't worry, Trader Prad and Arun are going to be crushing it because the market is not going to slow down. This is going to be an exciting afternoon. I cannot wait till Power Hour. Because that turn you just mentioned there on Snapchat, got to revisit Pinterest. It's at VWAP. I kind of feel like if it takes out 26 and we're anywhere, if we're above 36 and 26 gets, if we're above 36 on Snap and Pinterest takes out 26, then I just want to take this out, get out, revisit the high of the day, wait for that price, play off the key levels only, and not get chopped up in the middle. So that's a plan for Pinterest. I'm going to hold on to any as well. I'm going to be watching DWAC. I never got back into this one. I always try to type in NASDAQ or New York. I didn't get back into it. I said I wouldn't reload. Probably a mistake. It failed at 85 again and came back down to 82. So, might be a missed opportunity. If DWAC gets back up to those highs, I think that's worth a fade as well.
Shorting Apple, yeah, we can have another look. I mean, we only have a few minutes left. Like I'm honestly pretty exhausted. It was a pretty good day and a pretty busy one as well. Thank you for all the love to happen here. If we can get it, we're 300 away from 2,000. If we can hit the like button, if you haven't done that yet, that would be absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to put the sticky note right back in here. Yeah, I know, Darren. I'm really, or Damien, sorry. I'm not too happy about the Roblox because if you look right here, guys, Roblox. Off yesterday's report. Let's take the long near 60. Look what we have here. Ford short, right? Crushed that one. Snapchat, we've been trading it. We're $2, $3 in the money. Facebook right now, we just thanks Goldman for the kind words about Facebook as well. And then Roblox. So I don't even really want to look back at Roblox. I know it's going to look stupid. But okay, it's coming back in. Okay, thanks, Damien. Yeah. All right, this is coming back in. So I like this one. Here it is here. It's going to be hard to see because the out is right there. So this is 60 long in the pre-market. And then the out is 61. So that's a clean dollar. And then it just ripped up. And then right off the open, you saw Amazon, massive selling. We were short Facebook. We were short Snapchat off the open. And I was just like, you know what, man? We've already made $1 on, and this is just the way I think. And it's like, you really shouldn't look at your P&L, but at the same time, it's like we already made the $1 on Roblox there. And then when the whole market was crashing, I'm like, I just didn't like, if the market crashes, then I'm winning on Facebook, Snapchat, Ford we had short as well off the open, right? So we had the 3 names that we wanted short, and then we had the 1 name that we wanted long. So it turns out that we're going to go 4 for 4, but at the same time, this one should have been held because, again, Roblox did not have a fundamental problem with it. They just had a BS short report come out. So that should have probably been held a little bit. But again, if the market keeps crashing off the open, guys, which it doesn't do, you can see it builds it right back right there. If that keeps on going down here on the S&P and on the Qs, then this Roblox trade is fried, right? So we got out of that one, and I think the same logic was there with Neil as well. Square breaking 100, but with the market pulling back, Neil, maybe, it's still 105. I was going to say maybe we get another chance there for Square. And by the way, we didn't short Snapchat, and it should have been shorted right there off this little level. Again, $36, now 40 cents back in the money. We're $2 in the money right now. What a great day it's been. The People's Trader hopefully made some people some money today, and it was a good one on a Friday. Woo is all I can say.
And that Indo, that's another one I am looking at. I saw in the chat someone mentioning it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is setting up absolutely gorgeously. It could be a halt candidate if it breaks out again, but go back to your 15-minute. I got stopped out of actually a long break on this. So I'm actually hunting the short. I stopped on a long break just a couple of weeks ago, or last week, I should say. But look what happened last time it got to this price. Turned at $6. Look where it just rejected, right up at 580. So I'm paying for shorts right now. It makes another run at the top. I think it's a fade for sure. It is 11 o'clock. It is Friday. It's been a wild one. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know you're going to enjoy heading over to Platinum Prad. I said Trader Prad before. Platinum Prad and Arun. Market Movers. Let's go.
Welcome to the final day of this week. That is the time for Arun and Platinum Prad show. Miss V, we still miss you. We'll be back soon. And for anyone who does miss her, make sure you smash that like button so she knows that you do miss her. Arun, how's your day today?
It's doing well. Which is the camera? Are we
What's going on? We're on. We're on.
Are we on?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it doesn't show on mine.
It says program is on. Show A is show A.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm slightly confused there, but okay.